Yo guys, what's up and welcome back to the Marvelous Chats podcast. This is episode 62 of the cast. We're going to be talking about Obi Wan Kenobi episodes 1 and 2. We're going to be talking about all the Star Wars news that's dropped this week from Celebration, and we're probably going to get into a bit of Marvel and maybe some DC news at the end. Tonight on the cast, we have a very special guest. The Flood is returning to the podcast. I think it's his third appearance. So guys, I'm going to bring them in. We got Zaberwolf and Hoffman as well. Give them a warm welcome. Yo! What's up, guys?
Hey.
What is up?
Mr. Flood. Welcome back, brother.
Flood.
Welcome back. It's great to have you here, dude.
Thank
It's
you.
always good. It's always good to have you here. How was the week, guys?
So good. I had a wonderful week where I actually went to Disney and was able to ride the new Guardians of the Galaxy ride, the new roller coaster at Epcot. So I got like my Marvel fix without any movie there. Like it was like a full production.
Wow.
They
Wasn't
have
there
a
like a
whole,
weird controversy with the thing with Chris Pratt in the beginning? Like
is there?
on that ride, I heard there was something about that. I didn't look into this. I just feel like I saw a headline, you know?
I
Was it
don't know if
good?
there's controversy, but like they did record like the Guardians cast, like did a whole intro for the ride, directed by James Gunn. It's set in between I don't know where it's set because Groot is like his adult version, but it's supposed to be after the events of the first Guardians, but before the second one, so it's kind of weird. But it was amazing. Like they put you on the ship of like the Xandars and stuff, Glenn Close, Terry Crews, like everyone's in these like beginning scenes before you get on the roller coaster. And then there's like a Celestial is like the big villain out of the roller coaster. And the roller coaster is this like unique design. They call it an Omni coaster where like your cart is actually able to spin independently of the roller coaster. So they like send you around like planets and stuff like you're orbiting, like you're looking at the moon and going sideways while you orbit around it. It's insane. I loved it. It's if you ever get out to Epcot, it's worth the wait right now. It just opened up a couple days ago officially. Guardians of the Galaxy ride. It's like it's the best. It's way better than Star Wars.
Oh my god.
It's the best ride at Disney, man. I'm
That's
telling you.
awesome.
That's so cool, dude. I'm so jealous that you just have that freedom to just pop down to Disney whenever you want. You're just a local, you know? It's incredible.
So nice.
Yeah. Oh, there's a new ride. We'll go down. Like, we'll just check it out. It's like me going to the shops.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday. You want to go ride the brand new multi-million-dollar roller coaster?
Yeah, that's pretty handy.
For me, that's like 4 years of planning and saving up to do that, you know?
Just move to Orlando. I'm ready. We'll build a whole studio. Everyone will be.
I would love it. I would love it. Imagine
I would
these
love it
live.
too.
These live would be great in person, in front of a live studio audience. Guys, yeah, this week is massive Star Wars week. We've got Celebration on at the moment. I don't know if you guys have been kind of tuning into the live panels and stuff, but they've been dropping some heat. We got an Andor trailer. We got news about Ahsoka. We got news about a new Jude Law project. What was that one called again?
I didn't see that.
The Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew, yes. So it's a news. And they just announced today, or I believe late last night, there's going to be an animated short series about Tales of the Jedi, which is like an old book, and it's being narrated by none other than Liam Neeson. Qui-Gon Jinn is returning.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
and he's going to tell the tales about probably a young version of himself, and his son, Liam Neeson's son, is going to play a young Qui-Gon Jinn in it as well. So
Ooh, that would be
crazy.
perfect.
Crazy.
Awesome.
And then I suppose the main focal point of this episode is obviously going to be Obi Wan Kenobi. Just started this week on Disney Plus. Episodes
Old
1
Ben.
and 2. Good old Benjamin Kenobi.
Love old
Incredible. So guys, I suppose let's just kick off straight away. What did we think? Do a little round table. Episode 1, episode 2.
Overall, I loved it. Like episode 1 of Kenobi coming back, seeing Ewan McGregor reprise his role. I know he kind of like talked about how he found it hard to like get back into the role and refine his voice as Obi-Wan. Like he just didn't have it anymore. He kind of lost it, he said. The way he picks up this role and gives you an older Ben Kenobi in episode 1 was just amazing. He played it perfectly. I thought that his interactions with Owen in the beginning were amazing. There was so much good and like so much Star Wars DNA over this, and you can just feel like the ramifications of the prequels in this first episode, and just like you're in the wake of it, and it's 10 years later, and it's Obi-Wan who's been living on Tatooine for 10 years. It was just amazing. Episode 1 was great. There's some problems with it, which I don't want to like dig too deep. And then episode 2, it's a bit of a step down only because like I'll just say this: Disney, stop doing fucking chase scenes. Just stop. You can't do them. Just like start like there's a chase, do the cut to the end of the chase, and like let's just get to the dialogue. Whatever.
We know what's gonna happen. She's being taken. Just let it happen.
I've never seen a child run so slow in my life. It was frustrating.
It's agonizing.
Dude,
hey guys, I'm
I wasn't
running
gonna
here.
get into that, but yep, yeah,
the bit where the green alien ran into the branch and it just like stopped dead.
Oh my God.
Me and my girlfriend looked at each other like, "What the hell was that?"
Dude, okay, real quick, like Inquisitors, who are supposed to be these galactic Jedi hunters who are like feared throughout the galaxy, got stopped because some weak ass Jedi pulled down 2 pieces of scaffolding.
I know.
And they're like, "Oh no!"
I love that they both stopped dead and just are staring at it. It's like, use a force push and blow it out of the way.
Maybe the lightsaber you have out. I don't know.
Yeah,
or just walk through it. It's fabric with giant gaps. There's giant gaps everywhere.
The fifth brother just steps around it, but the Inquisitor and Reva are just standing there just staring at it. I was like, what the hell is going on?
In their defense, character development, Jedi hunt themselves. You know, they're not going to chase. They're not going to chase the Jedi. We'll wait for him to come to us.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that was character development.
You saw Reva like chasing whoever the hell she was chasing on top of the roof, because I don't know why they had to do so many different action scenes with Reva. Like, oh man, I can vault this, I can jump over this, I can look like a badass going through the rooftops. And then it's like, where did you go? Like, how long did it take you to actually reach that character?
Yeah. I don't know if we're going into it already, but like I had some issues with the Reva, the way that they played that character a little bit for myself. But yeah,
very much so. It's just like with episode 1, I thought it was great. I actually did start feeling a little, like, sentimental with it, because I saw, Ben Kenobi, and I'm like, oh man, he looks so disheveled. I'm so excited to see like how he's going to develop as a character. And then I see like all these other like light side characters that are just doing just a fantastic job of acting. Mm-hmm. And then I see the dark side characters and some of the bad guys, and they're just not believable to me. And that was the hard part in like watching all of this, was like, I don't understand what Disney is trying to do with the bad guys, but I agree. Like the chase scene was terrible. Like it looked like they were hobbling trying to get to her. Like they were giving her a head start basically because she's a kid. And then with the Inquisitors, I felt like they weren't as badass as I wanted them to be. I thought the Grand Inquisitor was like a fantastic character, and obviously they wanted to make Reva even more important. So that's why, of course they push the Grand Inquisitor away, and it just doesn't add up. Like I think that it turned into like a cookie cutter situation because everything was starting to get like fed to them, and I didn't like that.
So yeah, like if we're going into the chase thing, then if we're talking about the Inquisitors, when they first come down and the way that the ship lands in and everyone in Tatooine's looking up, and I was like, and the ominous music kicks in and they come out of the thing, I'm like, oh yeah, these are some bad guys. I was hyped. They all look badass. Everything is cool. And my only issue was, my biggest issue is, again, and I feel like this is probably all around the world, is Reva, third sister or whatever. They're trying to force a lot of character in her with very little time, and it's not working. And it's leading it to feel like overacted or underwritten or something. Like it just, and it's not her fault. It's just, I don't think that they're giving that time to develop. Like there's no reason for her to be acting the way she does with the other Inquisitors, as far as I'm concerned as a viewer. Like it doesn't, she's just doing shit that doesn't feel like it adds up. And now I realize in episode 2, they kind of vaguely explain that, but it doesn't feel there. And they've got these awesome little goon squad, and they can be tropey villains, like, oh, scary looking bad guys. I'm fine with that, but just keep being scary looking bad guys and give me some time if you're going to try to develop into actual characters instead of just scary looking bad guys. So yeah, those scenes were a little bit weird. And actually the early Jedi that you're talking about was one of my other issues. I was like, okay, if we didn't see this coming, like, okay.
Can someone explain to me how this random young Jedi who's been on the run for 10 years knows where Obi-Wan is and knows that he's on Tatooine and hiding out?
Boom, exactly. I was like, how many people know where Obi-Wan is hiding
0.
already? Like, I was like,
2.
We're at 4 people so far. Oh, now down to 3 again, I guess. Okay. Like, how are people finding him so flippin' easy? Like, I don't know. I was a little
just comes up with his
frustrated.
lightsaber in his hand, like, Obi-Wan, you used to be a great Jedi. What happened? Like, it's like, I'm sorry, how the fuck do you know he's here?
In the middle of the night somehow. Like, and I guess the Force helps you find people. Like, they could do that, but it just seemed like exposition edition for no reason. Like, so that you get the implication that, even Obi-Wan will turn his back on that. Even a Jedi who needs him, he's like, even he'll turn his back on that even.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess is that the point of it, but.
Well, I was thinking that that's why I was saying it was a cookie cutter situation. Like they're really trying to cut it into this point of like you can only go one direction, and so we're only given one path because it's been cut down to that point, and it's becoming apparent as we go along.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like especially with the whole like what am I trying to say with the chase scenes? Like even the second chase scene with Leia just kind of going off on her own. Like it's obvious like she's gonna go off, she's gonna get lost or get caught by someone, and then there's a fight's gonna ensue. Like it's all these like different tropes and cliches that pop up, and yeah, like they can be fun at times, but it becomes painfully obvious like you can do so much more than just these tiny chase scenes.
That Leia chase scene with the thugs in the forest where she first gets
oh my god,
yoinked, that would have been 1,000 times better if they'd treated it like a suspense thriller horror movie, and just like from the shadows a hand grabs her from behind a tree when the guards aren't looking or something. That would have been way more effective, taken up way less screen time, and we have less to complain about, and they could have spent more time actually maybe developing the Inquisitor characters to be more interesting so that we could explain their actions. That would be way better. But I mean, I'm nitpicking here. Like I forgot to say, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Look, I had a great time. I loved it.
There's like there was so much of the first episode that I loved. Like we opened up the episode with the Order 66, the Jedi Temple scene.
Oh my god,
that was just amazing. It was so
was
beautiful, and even going back,
Jedi was fierce, bro.
She was amazing, amazing, dude. And even just to go back even further, like when the episode first starts and you have that recap and whatever like filters they put over that original footage from the prequels, it was stunning to look at those images and clips from the original movies, because like they look better than they've ever looked before. And like I've watched them, like the latest versions of them, and it's looked better again. So they've improved those movies again. So I was just loved it, absolutely loved it. The temple scene was incredible. I loved the fact that like Obi-Wan clearly has like PTSD thinking about Anakin, and he's not sleeping, and that nightmare sequence where we got more flashbacks. I was just like, this is absolutely incredible. This was like, to me, this series is the most important to me, because like the prequels were when I was a young teenager, like loved Anakin, loved Obi-Wan, loved Qui-Gon. So like for me, I'm like, I need to see what happens next. Like I don't care about the sequels. This is the most important thing to me now. The Mandalorian was like, I feel blessed we have the Mandalorian, but I didn't think that we would get something that good in that timeline. Whereas this is the richest time in Star Wars. Jedi Fallen Order, that game, I just replayed it last week. It was incredible. Even better the second time. It links so well into this show, because we're seeing like the ninth sister and the second sister in that game. Now we're seeing like 3, 5 and so on, and the Grand Inquisitor and all. It's incredible. It all just links so well. Like this is the richest time story-wise in Star Wars. And then obviously now we're getting Andor as well, which is 5 years before Rogue One. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Go on. Like
Ewan McGregor, like he puts this entire show on his back. Like I was talking about before, but like anytime he's on screen, it's hard for me to imagine too many characters in pop culture that are as beloved as Obi-Wan. And Ewan McGregor as an actor, like you just feel for him 100% of the time. His scenes with Bail Organa, coming back, I did not see him coming to Tatooine like that. I love that they did that and put those two characters together again. I loved going to Alderaan. Something we've never seen before was like Alderaan. Like that was amazing going to that place. And as much as I think that young Leia is like perfectly cast as Leia and did a great job, they really directed her well to act like Leia. I think part of the thing that kind of spoils this for me is like the same reason I didn't love episode 1 is like young Anakin. Like I just don't like this much of like young actors on the screen. It's just like, I've been around young kids. They don't act like this. Like,
it's not.
They just don't. And so they feel forced because they're trying to act. It's just something that's unnatural in the first place, and their kids trying to do it. It's so hard to nail, and it's just like, it's too much of the young kid there. And I'm just like, hey, okay.
I'm not going to blame the actress on that. Sorry, there we go.
Well, I was going to say, it's obvious because like when you see Leia and Obi-Wan for the first time, she's like, aren't you a little old? Like, come on, man. Like, these are characters that we've known for a long time. Why are you still trying to hit us for liking the older people?
Well, my nieces and nephew hit me with that, so I know right where Obi-Wan is coming from. I'm like, oh my god.
I don't mind that part. Yeah, my issue with her is similar, but I don't think it's actually the actress. I do think it's again a writing direction issue, and it's kind of my same issue they're having with third sister. I feel like they're trying to force a lot of character into young Leia way too fast. She's got to be super cool, super smart, super quirky character all in like 30-second scene. Boom, go.
Yeah.
And like they're trying to make her way too smart, too cool, too fast. And I get that she's more in tune with the Force than Luke, and that's what we're kind of learning, that maybe she's kind of more in line with people and she can read them better and she's very smart. But you could have done that with a little more subtlety and still made her a rambunctious girl at the same time. Like, I get she's supposed to be over the top rambunctious, but they're just trying to fit too much too fast into her scenes for me, that it ends up playing over the top and a little bit too much. I don't know.
And I'm not picking on her. It's not her as an actress. It's the idea of the young actor in general. I don't like stuff with, Miss Marvel's coming up. I'm not enthused by it because it's going to be a young actor squad,
I think they're just overstuffing her. That's the issue.
I love the fact that you brought up Luke real quick, because I think you finally, it hits home, like the difference in their upbringing. Luke's in that sand planet in the middle of nowhere with like a plane. He's like going like this, right?
Isolated.
And then we cut to Leia in like a castle in the sky, and she's like rich, trying out stuff, and she has servants and stuff. I just think that kind of juxtaposition is something that I don't think ever really even hit home for me as a viewer, is like how different their upbringings were.
Absolutely.
It's incredible.
And she has Jimmy Smits as a father who, like, I just want him on screen all the time. I tweeted this earlier. I can't objectively tell if Jimmy Smits is a good actor or not, because I'm so busy enjoying him being on the screen. I just love him being there. I can't be objective about him. I just love him. I don't know what it is. Who doesn't want Jimmy Smits as their dad, as Bail Organa? Are you kidding me? He's the best.
He doesn't need to do much on screen. He's incredible. Like, he's just everyone
so
just
enjoyable.
Yeah, he's so good. God. I loved him in Dexter as well.
He has this like weird ability to be like charming but kind of a badass, but like stern but kind. Like he's just everything all at once all the time. He's charismatic as all get out.
Revan needs to take some lessons from Jimmy Smits here.
Dude. He's just magical. I don't know what it is about Smits.
Yeah, he's incredible. One thing I didn't like about the episode, and it's me being the biggest nerd of all time, but I was praying that we were going to see Anakin's lightsaber get worked on by Obi-Wan and it turn into Luke's lightsaber. And when he digs up the sabers at the end of the episode, and he takes the fabric off, and then I see like Luke's lightsaber already done. I was a little disappointed by that. I was hoping we'd have like a little montage of him like changing Anakin's lightsaber with a few flashbacks to a younger Anakin. I thought that would have been perfect.
Maybe it's got sand in there he has to get out, and he might fix it,
But it's all like all the work is already done though, and that's what annoys me. Like, and because I know there was a fan movie made a couple of years ago. I think it was just called Obi-Wan. But in that fan movie, they actually shot a scene with him in a cave and he's working on the lightsaber. I'm like, this is incredible. Like, I think they skipped a beat by not putting that in, because you want to see the transition of it from Anakin's lightsaber into Luke's, Like, we need.
But I mean, we are 10 years later and he probably already had time to do that, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
give us the flashback.
I also think it would have been like a cool scene to like him adjusting that lightsaber is part of his decision making on going to save Leia. Like,
agreed.
Like, he pulls it up and then he doesn't know if he's going to do it. Then he makes his decision and he has to change this lightsaber and kind of fix it or whatever, and then give it to Owen, because like he might not come back to Tatooine after this.
That would have been a great way to end, like, or cap the series or something. Like realizing that like he does, like getting that like, confirmation that he does have to pass on the Jedi way of being. Like he was kind of on the fence. He was hiding it, but at the end of this little adventure, he has to pass it on. So I better fix the light. I don't know, something. Yeah, you could have made it more interesting, I suppose.
So I gotta ask.
One of the bigger questions I had about it though was like, what about the small scenes? How did you guys feel about like the initial scene when you saw Ben Kenobi for the first time, like cutting up the meat, or when he was talking to the Jawa, or any of the smaller scenes? Like, how did you guys feel about all that in between? Was that like too much filler, or do you think it should have
loved it?
It was
Love
like,
it.
Yeah,
I think it's the opposite of filler. It's like atmospheric. It builds it builds Obi-Wan's life and what he's been doing without you having to like hear about it or see it like that. It's like
you see the daily routine. You just see the daily
it's not
routine.
exposition. It's actually just building a character like that, which is exactly my problem with, again, Third Sister and the way they did Leia. That stuff is all just like being jammed at us too fast. So I don't believe it. Whereas Obi-Wan, I get to like revel in the looks of Ewan McGregor as he's cutting fish, and I got to just infer that he's beaten down, and the way like that stuff is good. I want that atmosphere. So that shift change was weird. They left all the fish on the table.
Actress, bro. Her actress sucks. I'm sorry. She's a terrible actress. I don't know what else she's done or what. But like the Grand Inquisitor, who for most people haven't seen him. I've never watched Rebels. I know who the Grand Inquisitor is, but I've never really watched him in scenes. He was menacing and intimidating from the jump. Like he fell into this like almost like he was terrifying walking into that bar. And then you have Reva who just comes in and is like seems like just annoying and like not scary at all. And I just fucking I don't understand like how they're casting such bad people in the Star Wars. Like, are you casting Reva because she looks cool as fuck? Because she does. Or like, are we casting on acting ability? Because the guy who plays the Grand Inquisitor got casted on acting ability. He fell into that role. Obi-Wan, when they recast him, or when they cast Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, there was tons of people up for that role, but he nailed it. It sometimes feels like Disney is like casting for people who look cool as fuck instead of like who can carry the role.
I'm sort of with you on this. I do feel like she's maybe overacting it a little bit because she's trying to sell this like frustrated Inquisitor who like wants to move up the chain or whatever. Like she's trying to sell this whole persona of frustrated because we're not getting the job done the way I want it done. And she is doing that, but we didn't get sold on her being that way. Like I want to know her as like intimidating, doing the job effectively person, then exercising my frustrations, as opposed to I go straight to she seems like a just cranky child in her role. And I don't understand like it.
Yeah, well, even then, like with Reva, I think that the fact that she took out the Grand Inquisitor so easily was a huge cop out. I think there should have at least been a fight. I understand that you want to do a betrayal scene, but do a betrayal scene where they actually fight one another and show like that Reva actually is a superior lightsaber duelist.
It just felt wasted.
There's no, she's not a fucking superior duelist against the Grand Inquisitor, like not at all.
This dude used to be the Grand Inquisitor, who was so awesome.
This dude used to be a Jedi, like, you know, he's a badass, bro, and he's definitely not dead. He's 100% still alive.
And he plays with that like that gravitas of Grand Inquisitor. I never got to see Reva's gravitas. I just got to see her being upset at everyone.
Yes,
and that's like, and that's fine if she's that. But we didn't get to see her get to that, so I can't believe that she started off as super powerful and gravitas person. I just got to see cranky, which makes her feel childish, sort of like. I feel bad because I just feel like this is again a writing issue. I think they needed just a little bit more time spent building or showing me a couple slow scenes where I get that build or I get her frustration building.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about Reva right now. I want to talk about it during episode 2. But before we move on to episode 2, I gotta ask. I have to ask.
I think we did.
What do we think is the story with the canon? Do you think the canon's being broken here? Like, I'll expand. Basically, a lot of people are saying, and I agree to a certain extent, that Obi-Wan should have never left Tatooine. Like, it's always been understood in canon that he has never left Tatooine. He's always been there just watching over Luke. That's his mission. There is orders from Yoda. He's not to leave, right? And I understand Leia's the other twin and she obviously needs help, and that's fair. But I was thinking, and I don't know why they didn't do this, but I was thinking that they would have to bring someone in like Ahsoka to watch over Luke. He's just left Tatooine and nobody's watching Luke. It's crazy, bro. It makes no sense. It's driving me crazy, you know, and like, the canon is so important. And like Deborah Chow herself, I only watched an interview with her today, and she's like, we were treading so carefully, we were watching the canon and everything, and I'm like, you fucked it up in episode 1. Like, Obi-Wan should have never left Luke unattended. That was his only mission.
I agree with him leaving it unattended. You don't bring in another person. No one should know he's there.
Ahsoka, though.
No one should know he's there. I guess if Ahsoka already knows, I don't know that part of it, but no one should know he's there. The fact that there's many, like Bail Organa even knows where Obi-Wan is pisses me off.
Yeah.
But like no one should know where Ben is either. So like they had to obviously, to make a story that we want to watch, they had to do something, which was create this. And it's a decent enough excuse and I'm okay with it. But again, the fact that there was that other Jedi who knew he was there or found him, like that was the shit that frustrated me so much. I don't think you could sub in someone to look after Luke because again, no one should know he's there. No one should know he exists.
Yeah.
That would frustrate me even more, actually. So I'm okay with Obi-Wan taking a quick shore leave, and they came up with a good reason to do it and like to go.
But my only question with that though is like, if he doesn't leave the planet, how else will Leia know about Obi Wan Kenobi, like other than story?
Her dad.
Yeah, Bale tells the tales, and
dad,
that was the original story. Obi-Wan, you helped my father during the Clone Wars and stuff. You're a legend, and it's as if we're always meant to understand as if like Leia never knew him. Now Leia has this rich history with him. He saved her from being kidnapped from fucking Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a fucking focal point of her life now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was another big thing. That was another big thing with me. It was like, are you guys like trying to hire, musicians to do the jobs now? Like, because we got Thundercat in Boba Fett, and now we have Flea.
Hey, Flea's acted before. He's a thespian, all right?
Flea does a little bit, I think. Yeah.
Flea was great.
Yeah, I've seen
I
Flea in a couple.
didn't know it was him until after I was finished watching it.
That's just you're not a big enough Red Hot Chili Pepper fan. That's a problem there.
Yeah, I'm not. Flea in my mind is much younger. I'm just used to like the old music videos and stuff like that. Like I wouldn't follow.
I was immediately blood sugar sex magic in the moment he came on screen, but
that's amazing.
That's amazing. No, he was fine because his role was goon who speaks very little.
Yeah.
Like he can do. I don't know if Flea's a good actor or not, and then this is not an offense to him. Like he might be terrible, he might be great. I don't know, but you can use a musician who just looks the part as long as their part is just look like goon.
Yeah.
He did that. Fine. Sure. Good
Absolutely.
job.
So,
you shouldn't have been chasing. You should have just yoinked her out of the whatever.
Yeah. Should have came out with the drum kit. Here you go, kid. Here's my arm.
Yeah, it could have been like an abductor moment where like he's like, hey, so we found some cool stuff over here, and then just grab her, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I wish it'd been yoinked out of the shadows. It would have been like a split second and way more effective.
Yeah, like her kind of paranoid looking around, like rumblings in the bushes and stuff like that, and she's
or
kind
suddenly
of
the guards are knocked out and she sees them and it's like what, and then yoink.
She's only 10,
anything,
her imagination would be going wild. Like they could easily have done that way better with suspense. I think you're 100% on that one, dude.
Yeah, make it a thriller moment instead of.
Why are we not in the writers' room?
Well, that's a Disney thing. I feel like it's hey, we want to like make the little kids look like the heroes and they can run away and oh my god, we look at the kid, they're powerful and I want to be like them someday. Like that, I feel like that's what they're doing as opposed to making it like a realistic or cool to watch thing.
But make them just run fast. Like I think they're just filming on this tiny set. Right, and it's like so they can't run that fast. They got
the green screen hands.
She hits the void wall.
Yes, that's why you gotta run so fucking slow. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna come back to Finto's canon thing because 100% they're breaking canon.
Yeah, 100%.
And I remember talking about this so much. This is my biggest concern going into Kenobi, leading up like probably episode 20 of the cast. I was like, dude, Kenobi's announced. It's nerve-wracking because my love for Kenobi is this idea that he was like this monk who just hid in the shadows and was protecting Luke from afar his entire life. Now, do they have to do other stuff to get him off planet to make an interesting show? Yeah, probably. But you also don't have to make the show. Like you wanted to make the show. Now you're opening yourself up to breaking this canon. And I also think that there's enough story that could have been done on Tatooine had we not just spent fucking the Mandalorian and the Boba Fett on Tatooine, ruining Tatooine, or like kind of just souling the planet to storytelling because we've been there too much.
Yeah.
There's enough going on Tatooine where he could have been doing things to protect the Skywalker Ranch from afar. The Jawas trying to steal stuff from them. The Sand People, he would fight Sand People to stay in shape and keep. And then like he gets in a fight on this new planet. It's like he's hurting his hands. Like I just don't get it, bro.
Yeah.
Like they are breaking canon 100%.
Yeah.
Yoda tells him to stay on the planet and protect Luke, and he just leaves him, bro. He leaves him. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy that it's kind of doing the Rogue One thing where it does kind of make A New Hope better because she never really calls him Obi-Wan. Like she calls him Ben in the show. She knows him as Ben Kenobi, not Obi-Wan. Does she get those two people mixed up? I don't know. I think they're going to try to explain that away eventually. But yeah, like the idea of canon was she had never met him, and then she only heard things of her father, and so she had faith from what her father told him about Obi that she was reaching out to him, like he's the one, and she believed sending that message to him on Tatooine is what was going to make the difference without even meeting him. It was like trusting and having faith in like the Force. Like this will reach Ben, who I've never met, and he'll come save me.
Yeah.
So we're regarding the Force. How do you guys feel about Obi-Wan not being able to use the Force powers so easily? It seems like he's not practiced long enough. His judgment is being clouded. He's not thinking. He's not as focused or as calm as he used to be, and therefore, like when he had that nightmare, and he tried to contact Qui-Gon, he can't do it because he's just too
he's been
clouded
cut off.
in judgment.
He's been cut off.
Yeah.
He cuts himself off for 10 years. And I think this kind of is another one of the points that annoyed me. I think we talked about it already, but this random young Jedi who just knows where Obi-Wan is on a desert planet and he's in hiding, and he's cut himself off from the Force, but this light side Force user can find him, but he's standing in the same square as 3 Inquisitors, and they can't sense that he's standing right there. You know what I mean? So I'm like, how, like, you know, what's the rule set? What rules are you putting in place here, Disney? Like, it's like, can he be sensed, or has he? Or are we to understand he's shut himself completely off and nobody can sense him? Because the second he finds out, again, to jump right to the very end, the second he finds out that Anakin's alive and he says Anakin, Vader wakes up in the tank, and they've reconnected. You know what I mean? So it's like the Force is strong. Obi-Wan should not have any Force, but this other guy's able to just find him on Tatooine. Like, that bit annoyed me so much.
I mean, that's reality TV editing. He actually woke up days before that, Vader.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. Like, I think that they jammed in the random Jedi for some kind of like really in-your-face character development, and they just decided screw it making any sense at all. And like him showing up in the night drove me so crazy. I'm like, you just randomly this is. Okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
And now that you have this big important conversation where, like, I don't know, I think they're just trying to sell Obi-Wan has turned his back on the Jedi and the Jedi way and all that stuff. The only thing he cares about now is his word, the kids. Like, I am defending the kids above all else. Nothing else matters to me. Yeah. Everything else is shut down until I can defend the kids. Like that they were trying to impart the importance of that. Like, I've turned my back on everything but the kids. That's the only thing left for me. So I get what they're trying to do, but they don't have to do it in my face in a way that makes no sense and throws all kind of other kinds of chaos into the mix for no reason. Like, I didn't need that scene. Like, I did him seeing a Jedi. Like, we could have just seen him had an exposition of lots of Jedi cut and other planets, and now like, he knows, he's heard, he gets it. Like, we all know that Obi-Wan gets it. He's talked about the danger. Like, we don't need to see it in our face like that. I don't know. It was really peculiar.
Can I just speak on how kind of, like, I love the show. Like, I'm just kind of like going down their storylines and like, why would this make sense? Yeah. Why would Bail Organa reach out to Obi-Wan because someone takes Leia? The reason Luke or Obi-Wan doesn't leave Tatooine is because he leaves Leia to be protected by Bail Organa, and he goes to Tatooine to protect Luke. Like, Bail's the protector, like, so they can be separated and protecting these kids at the same time. So now Bail comes to Obi-Wan and is like, hey, so Leia just got kidnapped. Can you come help with that so that everyone knows that she's a really important person to the Jedi?
Yeah,
where they had an idea before. Like, it's just, it's a little.
Leia's first answer to Ben was, where's the army? Yes. Because Bail should have sent an army.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right? Like, and Riva apparently found some records that links, the Bail, the Organa people, like, Obi-Wan was friends with Bail, so we'll do this.
Yeah.
That's tenuous at best. Yeah. Like, again, and it comes back to them writing Third Sister badly, but whatever.
Yeah. So badly.
As a side note, my biggest hot take for this show is I'm really liking the show, but my big hot take is that I actually think that Disney on purpose is playing a long con and purposely made Boba Fett really fucking bad so that we would like and appreciate this so much more. I think they purposely had producers sewer Boba Fett, and that's the only explanation for why it was as bad as it was, because then they could launch Obi-Wan and we would all lose our minds because it's so much better.
Yeah. I'll accept it.
That's my hot take.
Set that bar nice and low.
Yeah, like, we're going to ruin a beloved character to make sure the other one can thrive.
Well, speaking about
some Sith Lords at Disney.
Speaking about Tamara Morrison, he showed up in episode 2 as the 501st homeless fucking clone. And I was just like, yes! I just couldn't believe it. I was like, this is so good. And like, honestly, if Tamara didn't get that entire Boba Fett series and just had that moment, that would have been so satisfying for me. Like, I did not need Boba Fett at all, but that was just beautiful. And I really hope that we get to see like Rex and Cody going forward, probably in Ahsoka. But, bro, I love it. I love it. I think these are the characters, like, I don't need to see all of this stuff about Boba, you know, the timeline where I would really be interested in seeing Boba is now during Obi-Wan. I'd love to see what he's doing now, because he's a young kind of up-and-coming bounty hunter, and he's like working for the Empire, and he's making his mark on the galaxy. That's the story you tell. You don't tell him like falling in love with sand people and then trying to take over Tatooine. Like, that's just fucking boring. Like, this is the timeline. This is the, as I keep saying, this is the beauty spot in Star Wars. These years between 3 and 4 is just the most rich storyline.
As long as you're wanting to stay tied to Vader, Luke, etc. Otherwise, the Star Wars universe has lots of other great moments. Like Old Republic shit was awesome, but like
true.
this is if you're trying to stay connected to the original series, this is the beauty spot for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, and it's very like blatant that they are trying to milk these 10 or 18 years for as long as they can, because they're bringing out video games, they're bringing out this show, they're bringing out Andor, which is going to be 3 seasons, I believe. They're already started shooting season 2. It's crazy. So like there's so much going. So much.
They've got a streaming service to keep people subscribed to, so they know what they're doing.
Oh yeah. But
like,
I mean,
let's not pretend that's not a factor in this. There's a meta factor to why we're getting as much Star Wars as we're getting right now.
Go 1,000 years into the future, and you could tell a 10-season story about the Old Republic. Like, you know, you could keep us
probably will
yearly for fucking 10 or 15 years on the Old Republic, no problem. Like, do you know what I mean? Cast Keanu Reeves as Revan or something. Boom. Like, you know what I mean? You've got everybody.
They'll keep this rolling for a long time, I think.
Easy win.
And I'm into it. Like, like this is the golden era. They've got how many books that they can draw like from all the different Star Wars canon universe book series and stuff. They can start drawing into and turning into series. They can do all of the video games could now become movies as well. Like, they could go crazy with this. Like,
I was expecting Cal to get a show at Celebration. I really think
so.
I think Cal's going to show up in this series before the end.
I would love to see him in this.
That would be a sick surprise.
Yeah, I think he's going to be in like episode 5 or something like that. He'll just pop
that might
in.
be why he's not in the Celebration, as you say, because like they might be saving the reveal. That would be so sick.
If they brought him into Kenobi and then led his appearance in Kenobi into the second game.
Yeah.
Oh,
done.
If you think about it, the timelines add up, because the first game is, I believe, 5 years after Order 66. Right, this show is 10 years, but the second game takes place either 3 or 5 years after the first game, so that leads up to the time of Obi-Wan. So this second game is going to be happening at the same time as this series. So I really would not be surprised if the next time we see Cal Kestis is not in that game; it's beforehand in live action.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like, you know, his lightsaber got released by Disney as like an official lightsaber at their parks and stuff for people to buy. They're putting him in all like the social media stuff, like. Yeah. He's getting pumped up for something, and
and he's a good actor. He can just.
That's an actor I like too.
He can slot right in, bro. He can slot right in. Yeah, it's beautiful. Just to speak about that for a second, the trailer for that game got launched during Celebration, and my God, it looks good.
Yep.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it looks great.
Also, he was a fantastic Joker.
He was a really good Joker.
So hyped
oh
for
God,
that.
here we go.
He was.
I love Gotham. It's a great show. Shut up.
The Gotham duo's back. Here we go.
I really like
it. It was good.
It was not a good show.
It's a great show.
I probably won't. I probably will not rewatch it, but it was a good show.
That's how you know it's a bad show. You only rewatch good shows.
It's too long for me to rewatch, I think, but it was great. It was great. I loved Nigma. I loved the Joker.
Next time you're down
Gordon
with
was
the flu or
good.
something,
yeah,
get that rewatch.
On Finto, like I've rewatched Breaking Bad I don't know how many times, because I truly love that show.
Yeah.
If you really like a show, you'll rewatch it at least one more time.
Well, I'm not saying I love the show. It's not going to be like one of my favorite shows ever, but it's a great show.
Yeah, what I'm saying, if you like the show, you'll rewatch it at least one more time.
I just think it's better than Netflix's Marvel that you guys are also up on.
No,
are we?
That's crazy.
Are we going to rewatch episode 2 of Kenobi? That's the real question.
Okay. Yeah,
episode 2.
We got to go into episode 2.
Yeah, fair enough.
Please say what you were going to say, Floyd. Go on.
Oh, I was just going to say,
it looked good.
One of my biggest frustrations right now, actually, is I feel like this show would benefit so hard from a binge watch. I wish it all came out at once. I hate that they do the week-to-week thing to draw it out. It frustrates me to no end, because I really feel like this is a show of all shows that would be benefiting from that binge. Like, I wanted the next episode immediately, and it's only going to frustrate me and take away from the show that I have to wait, because some of those beats I feel like I suspect are gonna lose impact by me having to wait. At least, and this is the modern viewing issue. Maybe it would have worked better once upon a time for my psychology, But for my present modern day watcher psychology, I want to be binging this show, and it is frustrating me to no end that I'm mad at you, Disney. Okay, sorry. Had to get that out.
Episode 3, if I'm not mistaken, is actually going to air on Wednesday. So in the space of like 4 days, we're going to have half of the series. So it's not the worst. We don't have to wait till Friday again. So it's like, in 3 days' time, we'll have seen the next episode. So, and I think why they've done that, because I know they had originally planned on putting it out on a Wednesday and it was going to be week by week. Then they decided to put the first 2 episodes together and air them just before or during Celebration. And I think the reason why they did that was because the entire world is absolutely crushing on Hayden Christensen right now. And I think that if you only got episode 1 of that show, it would have been a fantastic episode. I love the end of the episode where you see Obi-Wan. He's got the lightsaber on his belt. I was hyped as he's walking onto the ship. I'm like, yeah, great end to the episode. But if we had to wait 2 weeks to have a 10-second clip of Hayden Christensen, I think people would have been going fucking crazy.
That's an interesting point. Like, once upon a time, I would have fought you on that and said there's no way that they would have planned that ahead based on the internet memery. Yeah. But when you're Disney and you are the streaming service, you get to release at any whimsical moment you want. Realistically, they can do anything they want. They already had all the marketing preset, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
They can just press the button and launch it faster. So you're wow, you might be onto something.
And even as well, a lot of people were mad about this who were looking to stay up and watch it live, but people on the East Coast of the United States were asleep when it launched because they decided to just flip the button 3 hours earlier than what it was scheduled for. So there was
not me, baby.
There was streamers that were sleeping that were gonna get up, watch it live, do the break, record all their content and everything, and they were asleep and missed it.
I love that Disney fucked up. I love it.
Oh, dude, it's crazy.
Okay with that, yeah.
But I genuinely do think that the reason why they've done that is just because in the first 2 hours of the show, which would have taken 14 days for people to see, we got to see 10 seconds of Hayden Christensen. And to be honest, I know it's Ewan McGregor's show. I know he's executive producer and all, and he's seen all the episodes already. Like, he's heavily invested in this. But to me, anyway, it feels like this is the Anakin show. Like, this is all about Hayden Christensen. No, truly, bro. Truly. Everybody online, like, the fandom are swooning over Hayden Christensen. Not as much as Ewan McGregor. Seriously.
Everybody's never hated Hayden McGregor.
Did you see when they came out on stage? The whole everyone that was at Celebration was just chanting Hayden. Everyone was just loving it, bro. And I
thought they were saying hate him.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
How
dare you, sir? How dare you, sir?
I love him to say.
Yeah, no, like, I think it's it's fantastic to see that he's getting the love that he deserves. I think he did the job he was told to do in those original movies, and they weren't accepted at the time, and people are just loving him now. And I think it's episode 3 we're going to see. My guess is episode 3 we're going to finally see him getting suited up and everything, and people are going to lose their fucking minds.
That would be interesting. I would be interested in it because we already lost our big bad. Like, immediately we lost the Inquisitor. Now it's all third sister. So does Hayden
the big bad? Thank you.
Well, I guess she's the big bad now, but I'm wondering if Hayden is going to be the one that puts her down now.
Did you ever watch Rebels, the animated series?
I don't think I saw Rebels.
So the Grand Inquisitor is in Rebels, and he dies in Rebels, and Rebels is canon, so is this. So the Grand Inquisitor is not dead.
No, I never watched Rebels.
Rebels has some fantastic episodes. My God, incredible stuff. Like, there's a rematch, but I suppose it's not really a rematch, but there's a reconnecting of Ahsoka and Anakin, and it's just mind blowing. Maul's in it, like Ezra Bridger's in it, like he's this new little young Jedi, and these are all confirmed to be coming to live action. Like, so, like
Rebels, because I loved Clone Wars and stuff. So, like, I feel
Rebels it's going to be important viewing going forward because all these characters are coming to live action. And they kind of started the whole book of the Mandalorian stuff with, like, Bo-Katan and stuff. They're all from like, all their stories continue on Rebels, like. So we see the Darksaber on Rebels and everything, like, so it's all connected. So highly recommend that you watch that. And that's anybody who might be listening or watching, get on Rebels. It's on Disney Plus.
Sir.
Quick little plug there. Quick little plug.
Yeah. Pay me, Disney. Pay me.
You got a check on the way or something?
I like it. I like it. I actually just saw. It's so strange, but my Google had an article about this. And I don't usually do deep dives, but I know that one of the things that I just saw was apparently talking about Jon Favreau, because they're doing the next Mandalorian series, so like is already being in production before the next season comes out. So they're already a season ahead. They're really excited about it. But he was commenting that when they did Mandalorian, he got to just go blank slate. Basically, he could do it anytime he wanted, anytime, like it didn't really matter. And now he's commented that they're trying to get more precise, because they're kind of fitted into things like, where is the Darksaber? Why is this here? And what's going on there and all that. Yeah. And I feel like that's interesting, because we're talking about broken canon with Obi-Wan right now, whereas he got to just do whatever he wants. Now they just have to like jury rig it into canon. And I feel like that's going to be what kind of happens going forward. It's also why Mandalorian was so good, I think, because they got to just go blank slate and do anything. So I'm actually nervous about it going forward if they do start to bring it tighter into the series, because I feel like that forces them to make compromises and forces them to do like those weird little like as much as we love the cameo moments, you get too many cameo moments and you start to just take away. It becomes cheese. It's the reason that Justice League sucked. Like they had an advertisement. They had an advertisement for all the different characters in the movie. That's dumb. Like it's so frustrating to me. So I'm really, I don't know. Just an interesting thought for me, because I'm thinking about Mandalorian and where I want this to go and all the different Star Wars series that are coming. Like I'm so hyped about it. But I love the blank slate stuff. You were talking about this as golden age of Star Wars. I love that blank slate stuff with Mando. Like where you bring me something totally new that's just in that universe. The Star Wars universe is rife with good stuff. Just throw it in there and don't worry too much about the canon, as long as it doesn't break everything completely. Whatever. Well, just give me more Star Wars.
Look at how good that Fallen Order game did. You know, like that they were in prime time, and we got introduced to pretty much an entire new roster of people that all existed during the exact same time, and it didn't matter. Like I know the end of that game, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't played it, but Vader shows up in the last scene, and it's fucking mind blowing. But you didn't even need it. You didn't need Vader there. You know what I mean? Like you could have just had the big fight against the second sister, and the game could have ended and they would have been perfect. But the fact that they brought Vader in was just incredible. But then it just kind of brings you back to, you're like, wow, okay, we are in this prime time. So yeah, it is very doable. And I know what you're saying.
It's a big universe. You know?
Yeah, massive.
Isn't it weird how menacing and scary Darth Vader is when, like, because he's not parkouring over rooftops?
That was my other tweet. I was like, if Disney owned DC instead of Marvel, she definitely would have said, I am Batman. She was like up on that looming thing. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I know.
The worst offender was when the falling beam, and she goes and does a backflip for no reason, which, you know, whatever.
I would if I had the Force, I'd be doing backflips all day. But anyway, go on.
Why did she do a backflip into a forward roll? It just doesn't even make sense. Like, it slows her down.
Yeah.
Like, do a front flip like Luke does for no reason. You know, do the Luke flip.
She's got to be cooler than Luke, though, so she's got to do a backflip instead.
I've never seen anyone do a backflip into a forward roll like while they're chasing someone ever.
Yeah.
Made no sense.
Okay, I'm going to talk about Reva now.
That's why you're not a Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
I'm just saying, I would be flipping all over the place. Side flips, back flips, front flips, everything. Okay.
Like my
Reva. Episode 2, Reva. I hate Reva. Okay, I cannot stand the character at all.
You've been waiting to say that so
I
hard.
have. I've been trying. When you guys were talking about her, I was like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to bite my tongue, and I'm just going to wait because I wanted to talk about it during episode 2. So the thing that made me hate her the most, I did not like her in season 1. I back up every single thing you guys were saying. You know, the fact that she's just having fights with the fifth brother and all this sort of shit, and it's just stupid. She's just going against everybody. I hated it. Like, it was just like they had to make her the focal point of every single scene, and she's a lackey. Like, let's be real. Like, she is the third sister. Everybody needs to be answering to the Grand Inquisitor. Like, that's just the way it is. He's the one who's appointed directly by Vader. That's it. Like, the rest of them all answer to him. So I hate that she was just like making it out as if she's number one. And Moses Ingram is her name in real life. She's like said in interviews that, like, you know, I'm the main Inquisitor and all this stuff. And like, that shit to me is just alarm bells. I'm like, no, you're not at all. Stop, please. But the part that drove me insane was in that second episode when she announced that Vader was Anakin Skywalker. I was just like, yes. I'm sorry, what? I was like, how do you know this? How do you know this? Nobody knows who Vader is. Like, do you know what I mean? The name Anakin Skywalker isn't even mentioned by anybody in the Empire, I think, until Sidious himself says it in episode 5, Anakin Skywalker is dead. And it's like, that was it. Like, no one knew who Vader was. So, like, are we to be led to believe? And look, I will hold off complete judgment until the series is finished. I have no hate towards the actress at all. I just hate how they're writing the character. I just can't stand it.
Exactly.
She's the all-knowing, and she's so OP as well. Like, she's like doing, like, pulling information from people's minds and all this stuff. I'm just like, this just seems to me like an agenda. Like, you know, it's just, again, trying to put, like, focus on people, men or women, doesn't matter. Just they're putting focus on characters that don't deserve it. And it's just so annoying. Like, it makes zero sense to me why she knows who Anakin Skywalker is. In the comic books, they had Obi-Wan find out when he was just in a bar and he heard a couple of people talking about Vader, and he knew that Anakin was renamed Vader, and that's how he knew that he was still alive. But the fact that Reeve is the one to bring that information to Obi-Wan, it's like, oh, you didn't know he's alive and he's looking for you? It's like, what? Like, are we to believe that the third sister is, like, what, best buddies with Vader? Like,
like...
Oh yeah, they're best pals.
Oh, fuck
See,
off.
that would be interesting if there was...
of them.
If they built that in, like there was some weird scene where for some reason Vader talks to, like, that would be at least interesting if there was a backstory there that would lead us to get to there, and that's why she's so frustrated and wants to move forward more and wants to circumvent the orders of the Inquisitor because she realizes that it's contrary to what she needs to do for Vader. That would be an interesting story that you could tell me, but you have to build that, and they didn't. They didn't. They just do stuff with her, and I'm like, why are you just doing stuff?
It seems
maybe there's backstory that I don't know, but I don't have to have read. I shouldn't need to have read 17 comics that don't exist, probably. But like, I shouldn't need that to know her as a character, and I don't get to know her as a character. You just get to do stuff for some reason. Okay.
If we're making a presumption, like, she seems like she's very angry at Obi-Wan. It's like she's been looking for Obi-Wan solo for years, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is she looking for Obi-Wan? Is she like angry at him about the whole Order 66 thing that she didn't kill Anakin? And then it like just flips. So, and then she's like, okay, so what? Now she's like best buddies with Anakin. They're on a first name basis. It doesn't tie up. Like, I don't understand where they're trying to go. I presume we need to see more. But where I'm sitting right now, I just can't stand her. I can't.
That's the other reason a binge might be better. Like, maybe there is some explanation for this, but we don't get to see it. So now the issues that I do have with the show, because again, I really like the show. It has some camp. It has a couple issues or whatever. But like, we're spending all this time talking about this, and it's not even like that bad of an issue. But we can't help ourselves because it's we have something to complain about, and this is it.
Right.
Yeah. The end's been leaked. Like, the plot line for the end of the show has been leaked, and I read about it, and. Like,
how dare you?
I know, I'm not going to talk about it.
Why do you ruin this for my friend Finto?
All I'm going to say is there is a lot more canon breaking. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. This is something that they did in the sequel trilogy that I despise that they do as a company and writers. They feel like they have to disrespect and like own previously established characters of power to then establish their own characters within this world. The fact that she just murks the fucking Grand Inquisitor easily, without problem, without anything, just takes him out, whatever. And it's like, now I'm the one who's kind of the better. It feels disrespectful to everyone who watched Rebels, who understands how great the Grand Inquisitor is, how strong he is. And then they are disrespecting like the idea of Darth Vader killing people who know who he is. Like, it is canon, it is in the books, and well known that Palpatine and Vader are the only people who know Anakin's past. And when he finds out people know who he is, he kills them. Thrawn and Tarkin, they didn't even confirm that he's Vader. They only have their assumptions. They're like, I think that's Anakin, but they never say it out loud to people. They're just like, yeah, I think that's Anakin. They're not like, this is Anakin. It's just so weird that a new character just comes out right out and say it because they want to establish to us, oh, this person's fucking the best and like is better than everyone even watching on screen so far because she knows the stuff and she kills everybody.
And it feels like it could have been written where they didn't have to have that moment that fast. Why did that have to happen the way it did when it did? There's not like, I don't see any strategic value to the way it happened at that moment within the story. Like, they didn't. Yeah. It was unnecessary.
It would have been great for Kenobi to start piecing that together now that he left Tatooine and he's starting to get news from around the world and the universe or the galaxy. Like, he's like, wait, Vader's still alive? I've been on Tatooine, not connected with anyone, and I didn't know that. Holy fuck.
Yeah,
Like he like that would have been a great like slow reveal to us.
that proves what you've just said, proves how much of like a hermit that he was on Tatooine. He's completely closed off from the Force. He knows nothing about anybody. Nobody knows anything about him. And then some random young Jedi finds him in 5 minutes. It just is ridiculous. Like, to the fact that like the guy who is running the galaxy with Sidious, Obi-Wan doesn't even know that he's alive. 10 years later, and Anakin's been the only thing on his mind, and he still doesn't know he's alive. So that'll tell you how disconnected Obi-Wan was, and then it just shows how out of place it is that they have that random Jedi find him. It's just so stupid.
Well, it's one of those moments that I see in a lot of stories that are done poorly. I don't think that the writers or even the storytellers or even the director understand the why. When they direct something or do a storyline, they don't ask themselves, why does this person get here? You know, sometimes you have to work backwards. You know, okay, so like Obi-Wan does this. Well, why does he do this? Because he had to do such and such. So like you have to have a timeline that works effectively. And it seems like they just wanted to make this story for the sake of doing the story, not so much of actually like making it as accurate as possible. As much as Deborah Chow said that, I don't believe her.
Yeah, basically.
Absolutely. And she definitely says that stuff just to kind of like win over the fans a little bit. Like, hey, I got this. Trust me. We're doing this right. And then it's like you said, like we watch it, we're like, what? What do you mean?
It's ruined 10 minutes in. Canon's destroyed 10 minutes into the show. And she said she treaded lightly around the canon. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Him leaving the planet, like to have a show, they have to. Like I'm okay with that. Like you have to modify a little bit, and you can just say that in the canon they said certain things. I don't know. You can try to work around that maybe a little bit, but there's only so much of that you can do. But while claiming that you're keeping the canon, and there's a certain amount you have to, as an audience member who wants the show to exist, you have to suspend a little bit and accept a little bit. But,
I can accept a lot. I can accept a lot to have the story, like, you know, the fact that 17 years has passed since episode 3, and you know we're seeing Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor back on the screen, like that to me is just magic. I don't need, like, I give zero fucks about any of the Inquisitors, anybody else in this show. I only care about what happens between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Like, that is it. I honestly don't give a shit about the rest.
I know Hoffman brought it up earlier, but seeing that Owen moment too, I just want
to
bring that in because you're talking about all these other characters. I agree, but like that Owen moment was like that added so much character to Owen, and I loved it. I loved every second of the Owen moment.
That makes sorry, go on.
Put him in his place. He puts Obi-Wan in his place.
Yeah.
And it shows like why Owen is like one of the most important characters in Star Wars.
And like he seems like such a curmudgeon, but there's a reason.
Yeah.
And it's
he
good.
Loves Luke.
Yeah.
Like Luke isn't an object to him, like he explained to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like he's an object to you. Yeah. I love him.
You're just waiting for his powers to kick in, like, you know, that's what he says to him. But
yes.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And I killed it, bro.
He's so good, dude.
Good.
Loved the Owen moment.
I think better. That just reinforces his moment later in the show, like later in the, like, you know, in A New Hope, like, you know, when they're talking about Ben Kenobi and stuff, like
that's what I'm saying. That's the stuff that adds to the series and the canon in a way that is like perfect, because it developed the character into, we get a little motif of a character, like this little brief moment of Owen really in A New Hope. Now we get why and where it came from and how he's always been like kind of a stand-up guy in his way, and like that was a build moment. That was an addition to the series in a beautiful way, as opposed to a detraction, which some of his other stuff can be. That was a beautiful add-on. Like I was losing it for that. I was so happy with that moment, so I had to bring that back up. I know you mentioned it earlier, Hoff, and I was like, I got to bring that back up because I loved it.
And that's a beautiful positive of this show. But remember this moment, because I want to talk to you about this when it's all said and done, because there's another moment that I know is coming, and it's going to be the exact opposite. So
I hate that you read the spoilers, man. I hate that you read the spoilers. That killed me. How do you do that to yourself?
I need to know everything.
So Owen trained Luke and we just don't know it. He's like got the lightsaber. He's like, all right, Luke, here we go. Lightsaber 101.
No. I can't.
I don't. Jedi Master.
Yeah. I can't. Okay.
Yeah.
Owen
it's
is
hard to do predictions because like Pinto knows, and so like I got like my ideas of where the story's going. I want to talk about it.
That's why.
But like Pinto's gonna be like, nope, that's not it.
So that was my next.
He's like getting cheeky with
that was my next question. I was going to do a little round table, and we'll see what's your predictions for. Let's just say episode 3, because I know nothing about episode 3, so I'm going in dark.
I honestly don't know. That's interesting.
I have an idea.
Yeah, go.
I would love to see, and I'm pretty sure this is not going to happen. But I would love to see a Meanwhile episode and just do like a day in the life of Luke, and just show like his day.
I would like that,
where
but
he has something crazy happen.
I would like that, but I don't want them to focus too much on a young Luke, because I think we're gonna have the same problems as we have with a young Leia, where it's a little overdone and it might get a little cheesy with the child actors and stuff like that. I don't think they need to do much with Luke, to be honest.
Well, I'm gonna go off of previous Star Wars TV shows, and I think Episode 3 is gonna be a nice interlude for the Mandalorian. He's gonna come in. No, we're not. You don't think that?
Do you think? Because I think it's possible that we could actually see Din Djarin in this show without all of his armor, like kind of just starting as a Mandalorian. That is possible. So they could keep it. They could keep it to the structured schedule of having a Din Djarin pop up in like Episode 4 or something like that. That's very possible.
How about just the cameo of the sheriff guy? What was his name?
I liked him. Yeah.
Ooh.
Can we get him in there somehow? As opposed to Mandalorian, that's too obvious. Maybe we get the sheriff man.
I think the rest of the show, I don't think they go back to Tatooine again until the very end, where Obi's finished with his mission and he heads back, and it's like back on the binoculars, just watching over the farm. Like I think that's where the show ends.
Yeah, probably.
But
I guess you would know.
Well, I do know, but I can't say. But I don't know. Like for Episode 3, I think what's going to happen is and I think this is fairly common. This is fairly common knowledge, but there's going to be 2 fights between Anakin and Obi-Wan in the show. And
wait, what?
Yeah,
you better not know this. Like, if you know this, and you're telling me I'm mad at you right now.
So this is what I'm saying, right? And it's not. I haven't heard this as a plot leak or anything, but this is just the classic story, right? It's the first time the good guy goes against the bad guy. He loses the first time, then he has to go off, tail between the legs, and he's got to train up and do his Rocky moments and his montages, get trained up, and then when they meet the second time, then he wins.
My take on that is I do not want to see Vader and Obi-Wan together in this at all. I want to see maybe Obi-Wan leaving on a shuttle and Vader looking out at the distance or something like that. That's as close as I want them to be in this series. If they get together and actually fight, I will be furious. I would hate that.
I'm gonna keep my predictions in the scope of Episode 3 because I'll get really mad about like this. Because I know they're gonna fight. There's no way they don't have them fight.
It's fact. It's fact. They've said it in interviews.
I think that they are going to, in Episode 3, we're going to be dealing with the fallout of the Grand Inquisitor being killed or whatever. That she has to go back to like wherever Vader is. They have a scene with the Inquisitors. Obi-Wan has to go back to Alderaan and drop off Leia. And I think he comes to the conclusion that like he's been exposed. They know he was on Tatooine hiding there. And so they're going to be searching for him on Tatooine in the future, but he has to go back to Tatooine. So I think that he's going to be him coming to the realization that he has to deal with Vader or try to fake his own death in some way to get them to like think Obi-Wan is dead. And I think that we're going to have Clone Wars flashbacks in Episode 3.
And that's so I want to tail off of that. I totally want to tail off of that. Do you guys remember that scene with the guy who was Kingo in like Eternals? I can't remember his actor name, but like we're totally going to see him come back. And if that's the case, Hoffman, I think we're going to see that guy return and be like, I can help you.
Yeah. He is actually in a lot of the promo art, so I would say, he probably is more of a mainstay.
That was really fun, by the way. I liked him. I don't know. It was kind of cheesy, but I loved every second of it anyway. Like he plays that character so well. Like I don't know.
I don't need to see any more of him, to be honest. I love the actor. I love the actor, and I loved like what we got, like the scammer whole thing, and it was funny and it was clever. And he's using the magnets, and like when Obi-Wan used the Force, he's like, "Whoa, those weren't magnets," and stuff. Like, it was fun. It was funny, like, But at the same time, like, I don't need to see him anymore. Like, he's just standard street thug, like just trying to scam people out of money. Like, what does Obi-Wan need him for? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No.
I would also like. I wouldn't be surprised if we get the Qui-Gon Jinn reveal next episode, because Obi-Wan's come back to the Force and he's using the Force.
That's gonna be. I think that'll be true. The Rocky montage part of the series. I think that's where we're gonna get in touch with Qui-Gon. Yeah, I think that's
maybe Yoda. Maybe he communes with Yoda through the Force.
That'd be sweet.
Next episode, and it's like, hey, I fucked up. Sorry. Second time I put the galaxy at risk in a couple of years.
Well, like
So-
this
Is
was
Obi-Wan the worst Jedi?
this is what I might like. This could have made sense. Like I like what you're saying there about him potentially communing with Yoda, but imagine Yoda then was the one to go to Tatooine and watch over Luke while Obi's gone.
You know, it'd be great.
I don't know.
Obi-Wan comes back and he thinks like, all right, I'm just gonna stand on Tatooine on my hands, and Yoda's just like waiting in his cave. He's like,
Where were you? You've been gone for 2 months.
Like, how outer is the outer rim though? Because like everyone's going to Tatooine. There's way too much traffic to Tatooine. What is going on with Tatooine? Why is this like the central hub of our universe? Like it's very frustrating to me.
They mention it
It's
as
a
like
trade planet.
it's like a trade planet and like a spaceport nearly. Like so, they always kind of mention it as a kind of like a stepping stone to the further outer rim. I know, dude. Look,
They have the
rim.
spice
It's
trade
laziness,
there too,
dude.
man.
It's lazy.
that's
dude.
why you don't see stormtroopers there. There's no Imperial presence in the Outer Rim, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of traffic through Tatooine.
That's
Yeah.
fair, I guess.
That's why when the Inquisitors show up, they're like, "What the fuck is going on here, man?"
So I suppose that's a fair reason as to why the other random Jedi might have been there.
Mm-hmm.
But him finding Obi-Wan was the frustrating part.
Yeah.
The way that they told that he knew that Obi-Wan was there and he was going to Obi-Wan, like he's like, Obi-Wan, I need your help. Like you need to help me. You were once a great Jedi. You know what happened? Like you need to help me. And holding his lightsaber at his head, like, please, sir, help me. I was like, this is so stupid.
But I read that as him like running into Obi-Wan and being like, "Oh, you're Obi-Wan, help me!" Like
I
not
don't
him
think so.
searching for him.
I think
but
he knew he was
that's
there.
just as implausible and frustrating to me.
Yeah. I think he
Because
knew
of the way
I-
it was set up. It
I
was
think
dumb.
he knew he was there. My taking of it was he knew he was there. He was looking for him, and came across him at night, like pretty near his cave. Like he knew exactly where he was.
That's the case, then way too many people know where Obi-Wan is. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah,
This is why he's got to fake his death, and Rev is gonna help him do it.
That's actually I really like that
Mm-hmm.
take. The idea that he's actually gonna force the faked death so that everyone does believe that Obi-Wan is dead. Like this is where we find out that Obi-Wan is dead. We never.
Yeah.
That's great. Actually, I'm down with that. That's a good.
I-
conclusion.
because I
Predictions for the whole show. I think Reva is reluctantly an Inquisitor. I think that her killing the Grand Inquisitor was like, she's still a good guy. She's like trying to work from the inside. And I had this theory.
double
like, she's
agent. I like
a double
it.
agent type
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
And my girlfriend was pointing out, she's like, you might be onto something, because all the promo art, if you've seen the promo pictures for the show, like the posters, where they have like the twin sons of Tatooine on them with all the characters, all the Inquisitors have Obi-Wan in their eye. Like there's a silhouette of Obi-Wan, and then Obi-Wan has the silhouette of Vader. So does like the guy from the Eternals. He has the silhouette of Vader, and who does Reva have as a silhouette in her eye? Vader. So I think there's something going on where either she wants to climb above Vader.
Hot take,
or-
bro.
Did the marketing reveal
love
the
it.
good guys and bad guys? That's interesting.
Hey, that is something they would do. It was like with the Doctor Strange 2 poster. They put all the characters in the shattered glass. Like, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Like I think
Oh, I like that.
you could be very right with that. You could be right. I like that.
Which actually still lends credence to the idea that at some point Vader's going to kill her.
Yes. For all of us, he's going to be the audience there.
If we didn't already love Darth Vader so much, he's gonna kill Reva.
Hayden.
See, that works to give me everything I want, though. Then I don't have to have an Obi-Wan Vader fight. I can have a her and him fight. She can fake kill Obi-Wan to have him deaded. Then she can end up killed by Vader. And that way I don't have to have a Vader Obi-Wan fight that I don't think should happen. Oh, that would work for everything. Oh,
He gets furious because she killed Obi-Wan.
Clip it.
And maybe she's just a bad actor acting as a good guy who's a bad guy. Maybe like not her character is a bad character, but like the character that she's playing is a bad actress being a bad guy, and that's why it's all working. She's actually a great actress, but the character's a bad actor of acting. Anyway, yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
You're so deep
I
on this.
love
When you
this
write for Star
theory.
Wars?
I
I
love
love
it.
this.
He's got the what?
We're
He's got the
inceptioning
board
now.
with all the tethers.
I love
He's
it.
like, okay, this
love
connects
it.
here. This connects there. It's all gonna make sense.
I
It's all
love
gonna
it.
make sense at the end of it.
Pepe Sylvia.
I got to talk as well about a crazy fan theory that I saw, which actually makes so much sense. But you know the way this show is 8 years before A New Hope, technically. And Ewan McGregor in 8 years is going to turn into Alec Guinness. And everyone's kind of like, 8 years to turn into an old man? What the hell? So someone came up with a great idea to actually make that make sense. Would be, and if you haven't watched Rebels, you won't know what I'm talking about, but there's a scene in Rebels where they go to like a different dimension. It's like the world of the worlds or whatever they call it. I can't remember the name of it, but what they were saying is at the end of this series, Obi-Wan gets plucked from the timeline, goes into the world of and meets up with like Ezra and all these people and Ahsoka and so on, and that's how they get reconnected. And he spends 20 years there and then gets dropped back to right the second before he left. So that's how they explain the age gap between Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor. I'm like, bro, that is so good. Whoever thought of that, I'm like, you are a legend.
That is fun. But also people who like kind of have that problem. I'm like, have you never seen someone age over a decade? Like it's you get to like 15, it happens quick, man. Like you get turned around real quick.
I don't know if it happens that quick. I pray it doesn't happen that quick.
Okay. How many years is it?
It's 8 years.
So let's go look up like James Gunn because he just went all white, right?
Yeah,
I don't think he's gonna.
I'm 31. My dad keeps telling me, he's like, within 10 years, your hair should turn white because like his family apparently their hair turns white pretty quick. So
yeah, no,
happen.
I'm not talking about the color of his hair. Like Alec Guinness was an old man. No,
right, but
not 8 years,
it could
bro.
still look similar.
If I look like an old man in 8 years, I'll fucking take my own life. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh, under the twin sons of Tatooine.
Don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Nah, bro. I think this is actually a really clever way to bridge the age gap because it is ridiculous how he turns from Ewan McGregor to Alec Guinness in 8 years is just nuts.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's not a bad transition. They're both like handsome dudes.
Yeah, it's just he's aged 30 years in 8 years.
Yeah, I just looked it up. I was curious because Alec was apparently 86 during. Oh wait, no, hang on. That's his age of death. Never mind.
Ooh.
Hang on.
Oh,
how old is he in A New Hope?
What age did he die? What year did he die?
2000.
Okay.
1914 to 2000.
So he was in his. I'm terrible at maths.
I was trying to find out how old. Like I looked
70,
that up. But...
They shot the show. They shot episode 4 in 76. So he was around until 82 because he was a Force Ghost for the other two movies. So technically, he finished in 82.
I would do the math in my head, but I don't want you guys to feel embarrassed.
I don't know. Like I think
it's a great idea though. Like that theory is pretty solid that he like kind of goes in that time space that only the animated fans know about because I have no idea.
Yeah, but
like,
then
it sounds good.
But then it makes sense as well as to how he's kind of has that time to become the old man and become wise and so on. Because like where he is now, he's very much rusty and like he needs experience to get to where he is in episode 4. Mm-hmm. And then as well because, and I go back to Rebels again, but when we see him in Rebels, he's basically Alec Guinness in Rebels.
Yeah,
so it's like it doesn't make any sense. Because I think Rebels is only like 3 years after Obi-Wan or something like that.
My God. We're down the rabbit hole.
Alec Guinness during Star Wars A New Hope might have only been like 10 years older than Ewan is now, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's pretty
I'm actually pretty sure. I could be wrong on this, but I think he was only like 10 years older than Ewan McGregor is. He just looks like an old man more.
So funny, bro.
I may, like someone will know that I'm totally wrong on my mathing or figuring this out or whatever because I'm just grabbing information as fast as I can. But like,
well, what year was he born in?
1914.
1914, and Star Wars came out when?
77.
Or it was
so what?
It was recorded.
So it would have been
76.
filmed in 76. Yeah.
So
yeah. So what? That's like 60 something.
Yeah, and Ewan's like, 50 something.
Yeah. So he's in the ballpark.
Like they're not that much. The age gap is not that big.
Yeah.
I don't think Ewan McGregor's gonna look like Alec Guinness in 8 years. Let's just say that.
Well, obviously not. It's a different actor. Like we all just get around the fact that we don't have to worry about the fact that he looks different. It's a different actor. It's been a lot of years. Let's deal with it.
Exactly.
What they'll end up doing is retconning the old movies to shove in a new Ewan McGregor. Whatever.
So I found a little section. It says Alec Guinness, who portrayed Obi Wan Kenobi in Star Wars, was born on the 2nd of April, 1914. This would mean he would have been 58 years old when the production began and 62 during most of its filming.
Ah! So, I'm in.
Yeah, it can happen.
He just lived a hard life, man. Like, he lived through a couple of world wars. That gets you a little haggard.
51, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not that different in age.
Ewan looks 31. Like, have you seen him in the press tour? Like, he looks as if he did back during episode 3. He looks incredible.
I'm not saying
like
he's not a good-looking man. That was the first thing I said about this show, like when I was talking to other people, was like, God damn it, Ewan McGregor's handsome.
But they made him in the show. They make him like haggard looking, like he looks terrible. Like in IRL, he looks incredible now. He doesn't look like he's fucking 51. I can promise you that.
Well, he has a skin regiment.
Well, Finto,
he's rich.
What's your secret, man? What's your secret, Finto? Because I feel like all Irish actors have some sort of secret that keeps them looking young.
Well, Ewan McGregor's Scottish. He's not Irish.
Is he Scottish?
Yeah.
Oh,
shit! Finto's so furious in his inside right now.
The Scots are close enough to us. We're brothers.
Secret.
We're brothers in arms.
I'll tell you the secret. You have terrible weather for 10 months out of the year, so you don't go outside.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Like, you're talking about Ewan looking
Good
all
food.
haggard and stuff, but he looks like a 50-year-old dude. Like he's got a few creases and stuff, but that's just him. He's at 50s or whatever. That's fine. He's got his beard,
Alex.
and it's more just the fact that he's wearing the, you know.
Bring up Ewan McGregor at Celebration like 2 days ago, please.
Okay.
Just so you can see, because he actually looks like he did in episode 3 now, IRL. Genuinely.
They put makeup on him before he goes on stage. You know what I mean?
Of course, but they're putting makeup to make him look old in Kenobi, like, you know.
Yeah, but you're also getting okay. So here's the deal: in Kenobi, you're getting like the close-up shots where you see every crease. At Celebration, I'm assuming it's like a panel or something where you're getting that far-away shot. You don't notice all the little, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying anything bad about Ewan. I think he's a great-looking dude, but he's clearly getting a little bit older. It's fine.
I can see the crow's feet.
He's a handsome dude. Yeah,
it's coming in. It's showing.
I think the funniest part is that Hayden Christensen looks older than him in real life now.
Yeah, Hayden looks a bit rough. I think he looks fantastic, bro. They both look great. They actually do both look great.
I was jokingly saying that Ewan McGregor was like sucking the life out of Hayden Christensen during the film.
Yeah, this looks like a young Palpatine over here. The fuck?
I think they both look fucking great, dude. They both look fantastic.
They do.
Yeah, no, I mean,
you're not wrong. But we'll come back to this episode 10 years later. We'll see how
absolutely. I am gonna fucking mark this in my calendar to look at Ewan McGregor in 8 years, and he will not look like Alec Guinness.
Okay.
Of course, he's not gonna look like Alec Guinness. He's a different man. Like,
no, I know, but I mean, he's not gonna look as old as Alec Guinness. Alec Guinness looked like he was 80 in this fucking 70s, bro. Genuinely, looked like he was.
I think he's gonna make a turn.
Yeah,
like he's already got the gray coming in. Like,
I honestly suspect a lot of it's just dyed hair, honestly. Like, that's one of the big modern things that is ruining us for aging, is that everyone dyes their hair now. We all picture old men as gray hair, gray beards and stuff. Everyone dyes their goddamn hair now. So now we don't know what aging is. We're like, oh, they looked so old back then. They just had gray hair. That was the difference. Like, Alec Guinness, if he dyed his hair to be like a young, youthful brown, he would probably look about like flippin' Obi-Wan, maybe about 10 years older. Like, because that's what he is. Like, I swear to God, dude.
Someone needs to Photoshop him with brown hair and see what that's like. Throw brown hair on Alec Guinness.
Look, I'm looking at pictures of him, and honestly, if he had the dyed hair, I'll bet you wouldn't, like, he's not that much older looking than Ewan. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I love us, but we've honestly spent more time on Ewan McGregor's age than we have on hating Reva.
And you know what? I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm okay with that. It makes me less furious.
I honestly, I'm trying not to even think about Reva too much right now. Like, I just want to see where it goes.
Is she as bad as the mods in Boba?
Not right now, but I think she could get there. She could get there.
I hope at the end she settles on Tatooine and starts calling herself Reva Skywalker is my absolute dream for this character, because I think it would be nice to come full circle.
Oh my God, bro, how dare you?
I hope she actually does develop into a character that we like, and because she does awesome stuff, but it's just and it kind of explains why she's just kind of cranky and boring right now as a character, and again lending itself to binge watching, which would be so much better for the show, but whatever.
Like, she is annoying, but people gotta remember, so was Ahsoka when she was first developed as a character intentionally. They intentionally made you be annoyed and hate Ahsoka, so that when she started learning her lessons and became more of like Jedi and respectful and like more powerful, like, you loved her because you're like, oh yeah, I hated her so much. Like, taking you on a journey gets you that way. I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of faith in the Disney Plus shows like I do the Clone Wars, but I'm just saying.
Clone Wars is magical, bro. Have you finished it, Hoffman?
No, I'm like fourth. I was on a tear, and then the life changes happened, so
Yeah.
I just haven't been able to really watch things. And now Stranger Things has like 2-hour episodes.
Oh yeah, dude.
Seven 2-hour episodes.
It's just the first episode, isn't it?
No, the whole series, like every episode is
really?
like an hour and 15, 17, 18,
Yeah.
and then the finale's an hour and 40, bro. It's so good.
You know what? I'm into it. I'm down.
Yeah, I'm
like it.
down, bro. I love
down.
the I love
I'm
the
really
length.
liking the new season, so I'm down.
Every episode
good.
feels like an 80s horror movie. I'm fucking loving it. It's
Yeah,
it's
100%.
it's my favorite season so far.
They're leaning into horror, and I love it. Not to go too far down that rabbit hole,
Yeah.
but
It's
I'm
it's
down
so
with this new
good.
season.
It's so
It'll
good.
probably end up being my favorite season if it keeps going.
It already is my favorite season. It's incredible. Yeah, look, we're about an hour and 20 into the cast. Do we want to talk about any other news, or will we leave it as a Star Wars cast for the week?
Only if it's like weird stuff about Hoffman's personal life. That's all I really care about.
How much time you got?
Like what kind of weird news can we get out of Hoffman? You know?
Oh man.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I want to talk about the Thor trailer because I know Thor is
Yes.
Hoffman's favorite Marvel character. So, and we are a Marvel podcast primarily. So, I apologize to anybody who is not a Star Wars fan but still likes to listen to us. We're an hour and 20 in and we're only talking about Marvel now. So, I apologize for that. But yes, we got to talk about the Thor trailer. We haven't sat down and had a chat in like 2 weeks now. So, there's actually a lot that's happened in pop culture since we've been gone. So, Thor trailer. Do we want to watch it together, or will we just talk about it?
I don't think we need to watch it because I don't want Alex Rose to come at us again.
I've watched
And
it like
try to
10
mock
times
us.
as well.
Yeah. I will say this is probably Marvel's like best at bat as a trailer I've seen in my history. Like it feels like a great trailer. I feel like I'm scared because the Doctor Strange's trailers gave away so much, but it really does feel like everything they've shown in this trailer is not throughout the whole movie. You can tell they're changed things around. You can tell there's still characters missing. You can tell that they've taken like green screen stuff and like put another battle behind it. So they're mixing and matching things all over the place.
Yeah.
This is our first real look at Jane as Thor doing Thor things. She looks incredible. Valkyrie in her new outfit looks incredible. And Christian Bale,
Oh my god.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yup.
Incredible.
Oh,
There's
I
Gore.
one
like that he's
face-
already a meme, by the way.
Yes.
That
he
like
kinda-
face, like it's like when
Uncle
XYZ
Fester?
happens. I love it. I love that that's already a meme.
Everyone was so nervous about Christian Bale because they knew he wasn't going to have the nose, or he was going to have a nose, and they're like, it's not comic book accurate, all this stuff, and everyone was really nervous about him. And I think they nailed a movie version of Gore that looks incredible. There's a lot of theories about him throughout the whole movie, and that he might be transformed throughout the movie.
I
But
heard that.
his trailer look was fucking great. And for all the people who were saying Zeus looked too corny, his lightning bolt looked too corny, how about now?
Yeah.
I'm
Loved
into
it.
it.
Great trailer.
Yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved it. The
Um,
Sweet Child of Mine remix, like incredible.
Woo!
Incredible.
Beautiful.
Just the vibes were just stunning in it throughout.
100%. Everything you're saying, I agree with, and I'm very dubious, as you guys know, about anything owned by the mouse these days. I'm sorry for being on a Marvelous Chats podcast when these days. And I was a Marvel zombie growing up, but once upon a time. But I just I don't get excited about Marvel Star Wars stuff anymore because I feel like I get disappointed more often than not these days, or I just don't care very much anymore. And Thor looks really good. Obi-Wan is a great surprise. I was kind of hopeful on that one. I was trying not to get excited, but it's so far so good. I'm really excited about it. Thor, I'm really hyped for. And the idea, by the way, of Christian Bale not being a quote comic book actor is dumb as hell because comic book movies primarily are still movies.
And
You know what I mean?
And
Like,
he was
they're
Batman.
still
What?
yeah, like
Like one of the most famous comic book characters of all time. Like, so what are you
Like,
talking about?
And now
they're
he's a
just
villain.
movies. They're just it's just a platform with characters that we already know, but it's still just a movie. It can be a great film that is a genre film that happens to use those characters. It can be anything. Like it's just up to them. The problem I feel like for Marvel is that Marvel movies have fallen into becoming Marvel movies. So maybe he's not a Marvel movie character because those are not real. I don't want to say they're not real movies. They're movies, but they tend to be more about the ride than the actual film. I think.
Calm down, Scorsese. I'll come over there real quick.
Yeah, no, I can agree with Flood. Like the visuals are one of the main things about MCU movies, and so like the story may not be perfect, but as long as the visuals look fantastic, I think a lot of people overlook everything else.
Oh, yeah.
That is one thing that like kind of gets me too is like although with Gore, I love the look that Christian Bale is giving. I'm really hoping that we get that kind of black cloak later on. Maybe that's something that he acquires. I can't wait to see if he actually holds the black blade and just like strikes down some gods. I can't wait to see like if it's brutal or if it's just going to be like,
it's called the Necro Sword, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The Necro Sword, yeah. Like, do you think they're going to have the Necro Sword in you see him in the trailer picking up a sword? Is that actually going to be the Necro Sword, which is fused with the symbiote, right?
It's an all black sword. Are they going to call it that? I don't know. I don't know who owns the rights to Null. Right. That's kind of the main point. It's like, can they actually say that?
Yeah.
But it is an all black sword.
Well, the symbiote's technically in the 616 now as well, so
Yeah,
true. They've kind of just picked that out. It's like, that's ours now. Let us do what we want.
If Sony owns Venom, then that means they probably own all the rights to any sort of symbiote.
So,
all black being a black blade made from the symbiote god Null, then they probably can't do that. They probably just have to call it the Black Blade or the.
I think they can do that though.
God Butcher.
I think they can. I think they've got that relationship now where they can use all this stuff.
I wonder if it would connect because like Null would have been introduced well after that deal too, into the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like retroactively he existed before, blah blah blah. But like in terms of the actual comic book creation, like as a character creation, it would have come out later, so maybe they wouldn't have the rights. I don't know how that works.
It's weird. Like, is he? I think they have rights to all the Spider-Man villains, right? And so, like, is he considered a Spider-Man villain, or I don't know. I really don't understand.
Well, but would it have been Spider-Man villains up to the point where they bought the rights? Like, if there was a new villain introduced and created afterwards, does that count? How does that work?
Man, I don't know.
I would love to know the answer to
that. Anyway, cool trailer. Natalie Portman's arms look awesome. Holy smokes! Yeah. Damn, dude, I can't wait. I'm really excited. I think it's just gonna be a fun movie. I think it's gonna be fun as hell.
I saw her on the Graham Norton show like 2 weeks ago with Chris Hemsworth, and her arms are puny, like tiny. So I'm like, is it CGI? Have they done something? Has she got that jacked? I know there was that photo going around of her backstage, or behind the scenes, and it looked like she had jacked arms. But I'm like,
that was a year ago, at least.
Well, maybe, but
you lose it fast.
I don't know, though. I don't know.
If you don't maintain it, goes. Yeah.
No, you don't lose it altogether, though. Like,
kind of. Like,
I don't know.
You're not going to be. You didn't lose it altogether. You're just not seeing it. Yeah.
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 But my biggest concern, and concern's weird, is like there's a scene on the goat boat where her arms are showing, and it's like she's not looking ripped there, and it's like a profile shot of her.
Yeah.
That's what makes me like.
I think it's.
I mean, she probably got a pump on before any of the shots. Like, we probably saw that behind the scenes when she like literally just came out of lifting something, like was on a pre-workout and like as beefed as she possibly could in that moment. So that's what we saw.
Yeah.
But any other time, it's going to look a little lackluster, and then a year later, of course, it's going to look a little small. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's CGI too. Who knows? Maybe it's a little makeup too. Like top it up a little bit.
I think
once you're
enhanced.
Done with production. Once you're done with production, I mean, like, do you really need to keep training afterwards? Like, is that her job? Is that her ideal?
Lifting is life, bruh.
It is. And
obviously for you, Hoff.
If you're playing Thor, and I presume maybe I'm wrong. Maybe her mantle as Thor comes and goes in this one movie, but I would presume that maybe they're going to try and keep her on. That would be the guess. So you would want to keep the fitness up. If they are her real arms, but I kind of think that they aren't her real arms after seeing this interview now, because it's actually scary how small they are compared to what we saw in that picture of her backstage. Like, I know exactly what you're saying. Like, you take a few years off, you get sick, you don't train, and your body depletes. That's fair, but they don't go this much. This is night and day.
Well, I'd have to see it, but I do think that we're comparing maximum pump for purposes of Thor aesthetics versus a year of not training your arms specifically, probably doing cardio and shit instead, or not doing whatever. Yeah, like, I don't know, that I can totally see those transformations are huge. And actually, I think honestly, a lot of like female bodybuilders, especially, you might notice it even more, perhaps because of the size. Maybe it's more obvious. I don't know. I'm not certain on that, but maybe it just seems more clear. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you see it very apparent with Chris Hemsworth, like with all of his training and everything. Like, he put himself out there, and I think maybe he just enjoys it, so he's continuing to keep that lifestyle right now.
And he probably keeps it to a certain base level so that he can get back up where he needs to be when he needs to be.
I also don't think that's him during the scene where his robe gets thrown off of him and he's like exposed in front of everyone fully naked. I don't think that's Chris Hemsworth's body. I think
know
that
he
is
got
either
it.
CGI
He got exceptionally jacked for this film. I do know that, but he's a specimen of a different fucking breed in that shot. Like that's terrifying if it is him.
Like that's not getting big for a movie. That's like someone who's been like bodybuilding and like sculpting their body
and
like,
injecting themselves with growth hormone. Like that's not natural.
Well, then it's CGI.
And also in terms of bodybuilding, since Christian Bale is on the table, like, do you guys know that Christian Bale actually had to gain 60 pounds for Batman?
Yeah, because he did the machinist beforehand.
And that got him up to 180 or something.
He was eating a sliver of apple every hour so he wouldn't die. That was it. He did nothing. He literally dropped to 55 kilos in weight. Nothing.
It was scary to watch the machinist, dude. That was wild.
That was freaky, bro.
Yeah.
He's a different beast now altogether. Because like when he was doing that film where he was he like one of the politicians? Who did he play? Al Gore or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh no, he played Cheney.
Cheney. Sorry. I don't. Yeah. But basically, he played him, but like
a little different than Gore.
That was him. That was him though, right? Like that was he put on all that weight, like he got the big gut and everything, and then he just loses it. Like he's got probably the most control over his body that I've ever seen. It's crazy.
How does he do it?
It's wild.
On this month's episode of Men's Health Magazine.
McConaughey talks about when he had to drop all the weight for Dallas Buyers Club. He said when he went back to his normal weight, his body had changed forever. His muscles weren't the same. They weren't forming in the same place. He said his body was fucked. But it seems that Bale's able to just bounce up and down as if wherever he wants. He goes where he wants. It's terrifying, bro. Yeah, what
could be a certain time in his life, or maybe a certain, I don't know, who knows.
Genetics, probably. Genetics, I'd say.
Just lucky on that front. Who knows?
Yeah. Alex, I gotta ask you, bro.
What's up?
She-Hulk trailer.
Well, I was actually going to transition for that.
Yeah, we haven't spoken about it. I need to know. Diehard Hulk fan.
Well, you know whose arms didn't really blow up on that trailer.
Did you guys see? Did you guys see that they redid the trailer and released it on Disney Plus? So they've kind of upped the CGI. They've changed it a bit, and I think they're trying to blame YouTube because they're saying when you go onto Disney Plus, you're able to watch it in true 4K, and they're releasing it in like 1080. So they're saying that they're like the quality's being decreased on YouTube. So.
Well, that's why I don't look as good, obviously. So I understand where Disney's coming from.
Of course. But, so what did you think of that trailer, Alex? Because I know there's a lot of Hulk in that trailer, so I'd say you must be very happy.
First time I watched it, I was wholly, jumping head over heels. Like I was blown away. I'd love seeing, Smart Hulk, Banner, talking with Jennifer Walters and, helping her to kind of harness the power of hulking out. And that was great. Like I liked all the scenes for a bit, but when I did a second watch, it started to become more apparent that they were really trying to hit a certain audience. Like I felt like it was an older audience, like 90s audience in a sense, because they had jokes that felt like they were in the 90s. And I was just thinking like, this is ridiculous. Like this is a modern character that you're portraying right now. You need to really like step it up. And then when they show like the look of She-Hulk, the CGI wasn't great at all, but at the same time I was thinking, she's kind of slender, it's fine. Like in some of the shots of her like comics, she's very slender. But in other cases, like you can actually up the muscle. Like you're on film, you can up the muscle, make her look like a Hulk character, but not a hulked out character like Savage. So that was my take on that. And one of the things that I found out was that there was actually an article written from the VFX crew, and they stated, I was at a company that did VFX for this. Apparently she was bigger early on, but the notes kept saying to make her smaller. And they were rolling their eyes. But at the end of the day, artists got to follow orders. And that's why she looks a lot smaller than she should be.
Like DC did the same thing with Wonder Woman. Like Gal Gadot is not like, I don't think of her as an Amazon, like even during like all the scenes where they're actually on Themyscira during the Justice League movie and you see all the other Amazons and they're actual like crossfitters and they're jacked, like that's what Diana should look like, you know. But it seems like when they want to bring out like kind of main actresses, they want them to be slim and slender and sexy looking or whatever. And I know there are versions of She-Hulk that are drawn like that, and I think that's what they're obviously going to focus this run on. But like I think like I would be more of a fan of it if she was a little more jacked. I love jacked women.
Right. And I agree. I like the muscle. I like seeing the muscle on the character. I like them kind of like referencing like, oh, this is still a hulked out character, just not incredibly hulked. You know, she's not savage form. She's just She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Because there is a difference when you read the comics. There is a hulked out form where she's just mindless and she gets stronger as she gets angrier. But this is just Jennifer Walters controlling her character as She-Hulk so that she could make herself look beautiful, because that's the confidence that she feels when she's She-Hulk. And I'm really hoping that they portray that in the show. But as far as I can tell, like even the facial expressions were very bad. You know, she's very stone face. You know, the smile was very awkward. It was creepy. And like during the date, she was so stone faced. Like she should have like a smirk. If she wanted to like be attractive, she has to have that seductive look. You know, about her, like, oh man, I'm about to get some, which is that'd be nice. But
I think they will. I think they will do all that. I think this is going to be kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog, where the internet just absolutely shit all over it, and I think they're going to be absolutely rushing to redo all these CGI parts in post production, like absolutely.
Well, and in theory, sometimes they get the trailer that's a little premature on the VFX, like they're not completely baked yet, so that can happen too. That could have been one of the issues, but
if next time you're on Disney Plus, watch it and see what you think. See, does it look any better? Yeah, see if it looks any better, because it does. It does. Better.
And like I've heard a lot about like the muscle stuff, like Alex is talking about, and I think it's a big mistake by them, because there are runs in the comics where like she just kind of like has a green arm. They don't really show a lot of definition in her muscles.
True.
But I think you have to take the times that those were created into consideration. Those were made during like the 1980s aerobics phase of workout stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the more modern take is like the CrossFit girl, who's like not huge, but is like cut as fuck and like
more cut,
just shredded, like not bulk, just shredded. And so I think when you see someone like the She-Hulk, where they're like she's not like that, it doesn't fit the times with what we think about as, you know, someone who's like a girl who's like working out and is like powerful. That's not what we envisioned anymore.
I heard something about like apparently the way She-Hulk's Hulk power works, and again I don't know anything about She-Hulk really, but I heard it was more about her being an idealized version of herself, so that maybe that's why she's not all bulky, because she wants like her ideal version of herself is that like bigger, greener, but because that can't be helped, but still like it's trim maybe. I don't know
control. Yeah, I know you're completely right, Flood. Like it's in control. It's her mind seeing herself as the She-Hulk.
Yeah.
So like that's her like image of the perfect woman to her.
Yeah.
So like she maintains that. She doesn't want to like.
So how about we all stop telling her what a perfect woman is supposed to be, and she can be the perfect woman that she is. All right.
Exactly.
Us.
So are you saying
that's what makes it so exciting?
So you're saying her power, she basically manifests and turns herself into what she wants to look like. So halfway through the show, technically, she could become a savage, a beast.
I think so.
That's amazing.
I
like that.
I
love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. So like I think that actually works. Like I don't think that's necessary. So that's why I'm dubious on the question about how ripped she should be. Like my image of a She-Hulk is stronger for sure, but like maybe I don't know the lore so much. Like I just read that and I was like, okay, maybe that makes some sense.
So
as to Zaberwolf's comment, by the way, the cover that they do where you see the feet She-Hulk attorney at law, it looks like an 80s cover to me, and I was really kind of hoping that this would be completely divested from the rest of the Marvel universe and like take place in the 80s or something, and like and that's why it would have like the kind of corny 90s 80s joke. Like I was actually kind of hoping for that. But
do you remember the
just
first
in the cover? I haven't watched that much, but
do you guys remember the first teaser that they brought out for She-Hulk, and they had a shot in it where it was her in like 70s gear, and it was Banner standing beside her, and the two of them were dressed up, and I think it was like a piss take on the 70s Hulk show, but it was them like standing in front of an old TV and they're breaking the fourth wall. So I wonder, will that kind of stuff be in the show still? And you know, maybe
awesome.
like maybe instead of them like time traveling, because she, as I'm aware, is the very first character in comics to actually break the fourth wall. Like, she was doing it before Deadpool. So, like, I wonder, do we get to that point where she is just, it gets a bit outrageous and she's breaking the fourth wall and they're going back and Lou Ferrigno shows up or something like that, like, you know?
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, oh man, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think
like as much as I don't know, as much as some people seem to hate it, one of my favorite things was the first few episodes of WandaVision. Like, I loved when they went like retro and got weird with it. I like it when Marvel goes weird with it because I don't expect that. I expect them to stay so formulaic. So that's why I was kind of hopeful this would be like not necessarily, oh, it's connected to the Avengers universe. Like, maybe it could be like 30 years in the past and it's like this, like completely just on its own little weird little world and like fun and able to experiment and do interesting, fun things. I would love that. I want more interesting things.
I love your idea that it's set in the 90s so she can like defend Captain Marvel in court that it was actually a good movie.
I love that you have to just throw a dig in at Captain Marvel all the time for
every episode, baby.
It's amazing, dude.
Every single time.
I love it.
I love it.
I want a compilation. I know it's going to be hard to gather, but I want a compilation of them all.
Dude, when you said that like 90s thing like 5 minutes ago, I was like, oh god, please come back to it.
Give me my moment, boys. Give me my moment.
I want it to be like Felicity, but with the She-Hulk or something. Like, I want it to be like one of those types of shows like from that era. I don't know. I think that would actually be really fun, but just throw in the wrench that it's the She-Hulk. That could be a fun, interesting, like sitcom-y almost show. Like, I don't know, maybe it'd be interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
it would be something different for Marvel.
This show looks like it's gonna be a fun TV show. Not like incredibly, it's not gonna be like incredibly heroic or something like that. It looks like a lot of the show is going to be based on like courtroom stuff. This whole idea of like superhero law,
Ally McBeal or whatever.
Ally McBeal, yes, that's right.
There we go. Like, I love seeing Abomination there. That was fucking rad, and seeing him in the same jail cell that he was in Shang-Chi when he went back through the portal. Like, great connective tissue there.
And he's turning back and forth.
Yes,
right. So which is cool as well. So they're actually bringing back Tim Roth as well, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are aware of Deadpool breaking the fourth wall. She-Hulk is actually the first person to have ever broken the fourth wall in the comics. Yeah. And they're going to reference that in the show. She's going to break the fourth wall.
Yeah. I knew that was coming. Like, it was kind of obvious from the first teaser, but the what's it called? Oh my god, what was I going to say?
Zach Morris did it first.
Yeah. Well, Zach. What a legend. Yeah, I think like, isn't it confirmed that they're going to be 9 30-minute episodes? So I really think that it could be like a kind of Ally McBeal kind of like courtroom drama, and that's how they bring Matt Murdock in as well. Like, they'll be going against each other in the court. I think that'd be fucking sweet. Like
a procedural as opposed to like this one of these long linked dramas. I'd be into that. It'd be a weird experiment. Like, maybe it'll flop on its face, but I just think at least I'd be interested. Like, I'd be curious more. Then another Avengers tie-in. Yay. Like, I don't care.
I read news.
Okay.
I actually read news.
Down.
I read news today, fresh off the presses.
How dare you?
What's her name? The girl who plays Jessica Jones, Kristen Ritter, is that her name? She's been confirmed to be coming to the MCU. So a lot of people are saying that they think that her first appearance actually could be in She-Hulk as well.
That would make some sense. Yeah. Like, she would be a PI for She-Hulk on a case or something.
Yeah.
That'd be so good.
Yeah. I think there's a reason why that's probably come to the light now, like with this show fast approaching.
Well, this show, among others, feels like the one that would connect the most to, again, you've got Matt Murdock, you've got the PI elements of Jessica. Like, it fits the most easily.
Exactly. Speaking of Matt Murdock, as well, last week we got confirmation that Disney will be doing a Daredevil show, and it is going to take place after the events of the Netflix show. So it's not a full reboot, it's a continuation of the story.
Crazy,
which is
bro.
Crazy. Yeah, it is.
I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see it coming either. I thought they were going to reboot with the same character, or like with the same actor, like same face, but different version of him. But it is a continuation.
I mean,
Bullseye
that setting
confirmed.
That setting in Daredevil from the Netflix show is so good.
Yeah,
why would you ever want to get rid of that?
It's the best Marvel TV we've ever had. Fact.
Yep.
Fact.
Second only to DC's Gotham.
Fact. How dare you, sir?
For comic book shows.
How dare you, sir? I find it crazy how much they're putting into Charlie Cox as Daredevil. There's rumors of him appearing in She-Hulk, rumors of him in Echo. There's his own shows confirmed. You know, like that's like 3 or 4 and like obviously he did Spider-Man as well. That's 4 projects in the space of 2 years that he's going to be a part of. Like,
They're going in on him.
oh yeah, I love it, bro. I love it.
I'm down. I'm
Yeah,
down. He was good at what he did. I think
100%.
it'll be interesting. Yeah.
Yes. Captain Carter getting a live series as well. Did you hear about that? Captain Carter. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was obvious.
Yeah, I think so too.
It was obvious.
Live action miniseries. I'll watch it, of course. But
Yeah,
I didn't watch any of the Shield shit, so I don't.
Like, I'm not 100% convinced on her being Captain Carter after Multiverse of Madness, but like I think her show on ABC where she was like, you know, a spy was kind of interesting, and I thought she was great in that. It's just like as Captain Carter, I don't know, the like live action just didn't 100% work for me.
It was a bit kind of lackluster.
Yeah, but you know, it could have been because she was just there on a set by herself in a green screen and not talking to anyone else.
Before we move too far from the Daredevil thing, are you guys like sad about the potential for nerfed violence based compared to the Netflix versions? Because we already heard apparently 100%. That Moon Knight like took a way big fight scene and turned it into like nothing because they were worried about how violent it was. So like clearly they, as much as they say they're going to go violent, they're clearly not. Like that's.
Yeah. Well, I think go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
They still want to appeal to the kids, and they still want to make sure that the kids can watch the show regardless of how violent they want to put it, because it's, you know, all in all, like Disney Plus is, although it has so many movies, like there's so much just for kids. And so like if a kid stumbles upon Moon Knight out of nowhere, I don't know if Moon Knight is considered mature. I don't think they gave it a TVM in Disney Plus, so like a kid can stumble upon that. And if it's super bloody and whatnot, you're going to get a parent complaining, and then you're going to get multiple parents complaining, and then it's just going to get shut down.
This is the softest generation we're raising.
Yeah.
Because if I would have stumbled on Moon Knight when I was a fucking kid, I would not have told anybody. That'd been the best shit I ever found, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I would have loved to see a violent Moon Knight at the age of like 12 or 13.
Bro, I was watching.
I loved it.
I was watching The Exorcist at like 8 years old. You know. Like,
yeah, baby.
Shit happens, like, you know.
Now we're talking.
Kids are gonna be kids, bro. They want to watch this stuff. Like I remember my dad told me not to watch Train Spotting when I was a kid, and he bought it and he had it sitting there, and me and my best friend were like trying to watch it for ages, and my dad kept saying, you're not allowed to watch that film. The second he left the house, boom, right into the VCR, boom, away we go.
And you brought Obi-Wan with you, and well played.
Yeah,
still an Obi-Wan episode. We
exactly True story though, true story. But I think
100%.
I gotta say though, at the same time, like I think I understand exactly what you're saying, Alex, about there needing to be like kid content, but like I think like when you refer to kids, I think that age is getting younger as time goes on. Like, do you consider like an 11-year-old like a kid that shouldn't be watching Moon Knight, or would you say like a kid is younger or would need to be older? Because like I'm seeing 10-year-olds wearing Stranger Things t-shirts. Do you know what I mean? It's like parents are letting their kids watch that. When I used to work in retail, a friend of mine that I worked with, he had a 10-year-old son. He was letting him watch The Walking Dead as it was airing brand new. Like, you know, I'm like, this shit's gruesome. But like people are letting their kids kind of get away with whatever. So I think Disney need to kind of get with the times a bit.
Yeah, I don't think they want to reach a certain point where like it could cause trouble within a household, and then, you know, they get lawsuits.
You throw the pin on, like, you know, that's what it's for. Like, you throw the pin code on the account, like, yeah.
My bigger issue is that we're living now an era of the streaming platform where you could easily within all of the apps like restrict that content so much easier as a parent than ever before. They could put that right in the parent's face so easily to have the kids and have a password. Like Disney has the pin thing for who's logged in or whatever. Exactly. And I know kids are going to figure that shit out, but that's what kids are going to do. And that's the equivalent of you grabbing Train Spotting when you were too young for it or whatever. Yeah. So like that's still going to exist, but Disney has all the power in the world to within the modern era to restrict access to people who are too young, so they can leave it up to the parents and let them decide, and they can do it like in the most comprehensive way that they've ever been able to. Oh, this show has sex, this one has violence, this one has that. Oh, I want them to not see this one, I want them to see that. Like they could go crazy if they really wanted to, or just use the existing rating system more aggressively and with more control than ever before. So I feel like it's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's just Disney being Disney and hating things that they consider mature.
Yep. I heard as well, so, you know, one of the main questions a lot of people have been asking, especially with the merger with Netflix and stuff like that, is like, where's the Punisher? Where's John Bernthal? And apparently he was asked in an interview quite recently, you know, is there plans to return as the Punisher? What's the story? And he has said that he won't do the Punisher unless he can do the Punisher right. So he said that he will not return as the Punisher if they're going to take the violence out of the show. He says he wants it to be a continuation on from Netflix. He wants it to be gruesome because he's like, that's who Frank Castle is. And, you know, I'm like, I respect the shit out of it. I'm like, yeah, that is the right answer. But I wonder, could you bring in a storyline where, say, for like, we know vampires are coming, we know werewolves are on the way. Like, does it hit the same if you have John Bernthal with like an AK-47 full of silver bullets and he's shooting werewolves? Like, that's kind of accepted more in society rather than him like shooting human beings. Like, or
it's a cute way to nerf it. It's like green blood in video games as opposed to red. They just changed the color and now it's okay.
So like, you know, he has wooden bullets and he's like turning vampires into dust or something like that. I presume they've gone to John with this stuff and he said no. You know, so that kind of scares me in a little way, because it's like he clearly has his vision of what he wants to do, and it seems like Disney aren't letting him do what he wants to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like, he shouldn't come back. He's right. He should not come back to a less violent Punisher. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to be the same. You know, in Star Wars, you ever seen, like, how many times you ever see a human actually like their limb go flying? Like, it's always like aliens and stuff, unless like it's Luke for like the one scene.
And they get to win with the lightsabers because they don't have to use blood because it cauterizes instantly. So the hand fell off, but it wasn't violent in the way that we think of it.
So when we come to the Punisher, like, it has to be gruesome. Like, that is the character of the Punisher. Exactly. And I'm not sure if they're already doing this or not. But why not just have it to where, hey, you know, we're gonna put this on the streaming service, and if you are a kid, you're not going to see the same show as somebody who's an adult. Yeah. You're not going to see blood. We're going to take all that out with CGI.
Censored versions,
We're going to cut down the fight scenes, whatever.
Ugh, that's expensive.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah. That's expensive, as opposed to just like omitting it.
Yeah. Like, I guarantee all these kids were watching, they've seen Punisher season 1 and 2, you know? Exactly. They've watched it on Netflix.
Deadpool did it. They made I think which was the night before Deadpool or something like that. There was another movie based off of Deadpool 2 that was made just to kind of like tone it down so that I think the kids could actually
it was like rated 12s or something, wasn't it? I think I heard about that. Yeah.
And that's great if you can do it. Yeah. But like, I just think again, more granular settings than ever before for control for parents. So just let them decide and rate things appropriately, and away you go. Like, and is it not going to get as many sales because like their demographic on Moon Knight? How many Moon Knight? Like, they probably have the demographics too. Like, how many of it is kids that are watching? It's probably all 30-plus-year-olds primarily anyway. Like, just let it be good for us. Like, just own it. Like, get in there.
Like, at the end of the day, like, you know, we're such a core part of the fan base at this stage. You know, like the MCU has been going for what, like 12 to 14 years nearly now or something like that. So it's like, you know, you've got kids that were 10 years old now are 24. You know what I mean? Like, so I'd say a lot of the fan base are adults now. So like, you need to be making content for them.
Yeah, and that's just the MCU fan base, right? Like, specifically since like the Iron Man Revolution or whatever. Like, they've already aged up. So never mind all the people who were fans and waiting for that shit to come out, and we're already old. Your boy, he's an old man. I get it, but I'm just give us that's where I actually keep wanting DC to start winning, is continue to double down on darkness. I feel like that's where the DC can come in. It like get violent, get dark, get weird with DC, because Marvel is so prepackaged these days. MCU style, it's so glossy and shiny and bright and kid friendly. Go the other way with DC. Get gritty as hell, and I'm into that. Like, go.
All they gotta do is let Snyder
experiment more. They can get weirder.
Let Snyder do Injustice, and boom.
No, don't. Let's not. Let just fire Snyder completely from everything. I disagree entirely. I'm done with it. Get rid. I hate this Snyder. Oh God, he's a great cinematographer. Other than that, get out.
Yeah, I think he would have made a great Injustice movie, though.
Maybe.
If he had started,
Yeah, well, I think they were kind of lining it up, like, especially with like the end credit scene during the Snyder Cut, like.
I don't know. Can is there an Injustice comic that he can go panel for panel? Because that'd be a great one.
Oh yeah.
If we've got an Injustice that he can go
movie.
panel for panel, then I'm sure he'll do a great job of it because he'll make it look exactly like the comic, and he won't have to do any of the writing or world building. It'll be perfect. He'll do a great job of it. Otherwise, I don't want Snyder on it. I don't want him to touch it. Otherwise,
I could do it.
The Flood, you're speaking to, like, I would say the infinite amount of like comic book fans that would love to see a panel for panel shot of a film of anything.
Yeah.
I'm exactly, and then Snyder's great. He's perfect for that. I hate him on the world building Justice League like MCU build. And maybe it's not his fault. I don't know, but from what I'm able to glean, I can't understand why everyone was like, bring more Snyder. I'm like, get out of here with that. Get less Snyder. Get anyone else. Get someone new, because someone who can do. Oh God. All we get is bad movies, and just keep blaming the studio. Oh, the studio cucked Snyder. Well, Snyder could have made it great. No, Snyder clearly did a bad job. There's a lot of bad movies. We all keep talking about how all of them are bad, but then we want more of him. Why? God. Sorry, this is like my biggest rant ever. I'm so done with DC Snyder. Snyder, you're a great man, great cinematographer. Go do other things. DC, get someone else in. Fuck.
I just want to point out that all the guests that we have on the show, every time DC gets come up, they come up with this like passionate rant about like fuck DC, like so hard, dude.
Yeah. I love DC and I want more. Like
DC's a tough one, dude. Like in my eyes, they make better animated movies. They make better comic books.
Gotham was great.
Gotham was fantastic. It was really good.
Sorry, lockdown. What
happened? Even like the first couple of seasons of the CW shows were fucking great, dude. Like DC owned TV for a long time before Disney started doing Marvel TV. It was all about the CW and all the like Arrow, the Flash, all these shows. They were great. They just can't get the movies right, and I don't understand it because, as you say, all they got to do, they have 5 books. There's 5 books on Injustice. They could turn them into 2 movies and it would be mind-blowing. You do Flashpoint panel for panel, it'd be incredible. And
what happened to that 250 million that they gave JJ?
500 million, bro.
500
million, and they gave it to him 3 years ago. And apparently, I can't remember the name, this big CEO for Warner Brothers and fucking Discovery basically turned the other, like, this only happened this week, basically looking at the budgets and was like, what's this $500 million for? It's like, this is for JJ's universe that he's building. He gets in contact with JJ and says, what's the story? JJ says he hasn't done a tap in 3 years for it. He hasn't done anything. They've had $500 million allocated to him for 3 years and he's done nothing. He hasn't written a word, apparently.
Oh my God. How do you not love that, though? I love a good con.
It's mind-blowing, dude. It's mind-blowing.
Well, he's a guy that's never written an ending in his life anyway, so.
Well,
damn!
Yeah,
Cloverfield, Lost, etc. Like, come on now. Like, I know we all love JJ for what he does. Like, he's good at keeping us on the hook. Yeah. He's not great at finishing.
He hasn't impressed me in a long time, let's just say, JJ. You know, I love Fringe and stuff, but... No.
Fringe was great. Alias was amazing. JJ has some pedigree that I respect, and it's gotten him a lot of places, but...
But that was 20 years ago. You know, those days are gone.
Now he's turning his like career into one of his actual stories. Yeah, no, it's coming. It's coming. Don't worry.
What's in the box? You'll never know.
500 million, but you know.
Oh my God.
Sorry,
do you want to talk about the Boys trailer before we get out of here? Because again, another trailer that we haven't seen or we haven't spoke about.
It's been a while since it's been in my head. I don't know how I'm still surprised at the Boys and their ridiculous violence they put in that I don't expect.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck just happened?
I've heard from multiple sources of people who work on the show. They've said that they don't understand how they get away with shooting what they're shooting. Jensen Ackles, very new to the show. He's playing Soldier Boy in season 3. He said that he was on set some days and he's like, they're putting this shit on TV. Like, he said there's a scene where he's surrounded by, like, naked women and everything, and he's just like, how is this going on TV? Like, he said it was outrageous. And your man who plays the Deep was saying that he shot scenes in this season that he said he is afraid now that he's never going to work in Hollywood again.
This is how you compete with Disney.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what DC needs to do. Get on that Boys train and get weird with it, right? Go crazy, because you can. We live in a world of granular moderation. It's available. Just use that to your advantage
Look at
and
Doom
make
Patrol.
what you want to make the craziness. Doom Patrol's great.
Doom Patrol, that's DC doing it right as well. They just make it work. Like Doom
Make
Patrol's
it weird.
fantastic. Yeah,
Get off this
weird and wonderful.
We have to integrate into an MCU style. Get out of that. Just make something unique and amazing, and people will want to watch it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Also, give us more Carl Urban like the boys does, because I love Carl Urban.
Yeah.
Give me another Judge Dredd with Carl Urban. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's a legend.
I really like Carl Urban. I don't know. I just like what he's just.
He's a cool dude.
I was a bit saddened when he died as Scourge in Ragnarok.
Yeah. I think that was a mistake.
Wasted opportunity.
Yeah, like they've done that a few times with some really big actors in the MCU where they've killed them off a bit too quickly, and it does come across as a bit of a mistake.
Well, even the Warriors 3, I remember Hoffman was like, they killed the Warriors 3.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
I don't know. Sometimes Marvel kills people off and it kind of makes sense. Like it's frustrating as a fan who wants to see the stories, and then you're like, what else are they gonna do with them? Like,
and it is easy to remember that, like, or it's hard, or it's easy to forget how many years these stories have spanned. Like, you got to assume that there's a bunch of little comic books stories that would have happened between some of these movies and over the years. Like, this is years and years of world building. And I start to remember that when you see stuff like the montage at the beginning of Kenobi, for example, to bring it back, I'm like, oh yeah, and like Marvel's MCU is the same way. It's like, oh yeah, there's all that. This happened, and it's because it's so expansive. It's hard to remember how much is sort of actually happened. These seem like they're cut short, but that's because they weren't elongated over 2 years of a one comic book arc.
Right.
So.
I think a few of these characters need to take a page out of Benedict Cumberbatch's book and deny these smaller roles and just wait for something better, because like Karl Urban could have been like a good Wolverine, for example, or something along those lines, or put him as
still good.
Anything like put him as a main character for something and he would have killed it. Mads Mikkelsen, like, he could have been Doom. He could have been a great Doom.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Awesome Doom.
What an actor. And it's like he's done in one film, like, it's kind of just crazy. And then if they do bring him back in, he's already a different character and it just doesn't fit. Like, I think if people like Mads and people like Karl Urban had just said, look, thank you for the offer, but no, I'll wait for something
If we're all
better.
going to whine about Karl Urban's character coming back as someone else, then we're all just a bunch of whiners. Let Karl Urban come back as Wolverine or something. Like, stop whining. Oh, no, but he already died and Thor is a different character. Get out of here. Let him play something else. Get out,
man.
Bring Mads back in. Like, I'm okay with it.
We're trying to fill 2 hours a week here, okay? Please.
Yeah.
Just bring him back, man.
You're right, though.
They have, like, if you're thinking of the Netflix series as being now canon, I suppose, which it is because they're continuing Daredevil, they've used Mahershala Ali twice now in that world because he was in Luke Cage and now they're bringing him in as Blade. So maybe they could recast Karl Urban as a mutant down the line or something. Who knows?
Right. But then who's really mad that Obi Wan isn't going to look the same as he did in the 70s? So, so then you got viewers like you. So that ruins that, I guess.
Well, there are viewers that care about the canon far too much that will not accept an actor being used again.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I could see that.
But just give him a little prosthetic and away you go. Like, change his nose.
Yeah.
Go nuts.
Yeah.
Change his nose. Give him some contacts. Boom. You got a new guy.
Make it a little crooked. That way it looks
like you can change that up. You can fix that.
Yeah. But with all the characters like being killed off in movies, I think the direction the MCU was trying to do or like go for was to have more interaction with the other like major characters that you see on the big screen, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, how do you have the Warriors 3 and the Guardians of the Galaxy hanging out with Thor? Like, you really don't. You can't really do that much. That'd be too much. But I mean, wouldn't it be cool just to like that they were still alive and they had Disney shorts where they did the Warriors 3 just going off and doing whatever they wanted? That would be fun. And so like that's where I see that Disney might have like fallen off on certain occasions to where like they could have had a great, miniseries with these characters. And I know we don't necessarily care for them too much, but like they're still Marvel characters and they still have like value, especially for the fact that Sif is an important character to Thor, regardless of how much we see Jane. Sif is still an important character.
Yeah, she's going to be reused as well. So, like, it's not as if they've just scrapped all of Thor's friends. Like, see you later. Like, they do plan on reusing her. So
yeah. Oh, I totally forgot about my hot take from the Thor trailer.
Yes.
I think Jane Foster is actually Loki in disguise for the whole time. It's going to work.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. The
I love
Warrior
it.
3 made me think of it.
They gotta have
Sith
Loki in there though, don't they? He has to show up somewhere. Has to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then,
It's not a Thor movie without Loki.
then is it also not Mjolnir?
That's what. Yeah, maybe. Like it's an
He's
illusion of
worthy.
Mjolnir. No, he's not.
Could be.
I don't know.
I mean, it could be an illusion. When
yeah.
she throws out Mjolnir, it's a bunch of shards that are going out like knives. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, dude, I like it. I really like it.
It would be fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm interested.
And like he's just
Take-
pulling
take-
one over on his brother one more time.
Take note, guys. We'll talk about this again in July, but I think you might be right, dude.
Yeah.
I think Loki's got to be in there. He's got to be in there somewhere.
At
Yeah.
least
Can you
hiding
imagine?
somewhere.
That'd be such a wild thing. That'd be such a wild thing. Because it's like, as well, I noticed in the trailer. Sorry, I know we're gone way over 2 hours here now at this stage, but in that trailer, because I was kind of thinking that Jane might be from a different universe, because you know, like that would make sense. But she, you know, he says to Thor, she says to Thor, like, when was the last time we saw each other? Oh, it was about 8 years ago. So like they do have that history. So it is the 616 Jane. So it's like, how did she become Thor?
She picked the hammer up, bro. She's fucking worthy. She has the ether, and it was inside of her. Still a little bit left there.
She just rebuilt. She found the scraps in fucking.
Well, she touches the handle. That's in it's on the New Asgard. It's in that town or whatever. That's where Odin died, and Hela showed up and broke it. And I think she shows up during the tour stuff. She touches the handle and it reforms.
Amazing.
Like lightning bolts come down.
Amazing. I love it. I love it.
Do you think they're going to go with the cancer route for that? Because
Yes.
she originally has cancer.
Yeah, I don't think she's making it out of this movie. I don't think she's going forward as the MCU's Thor.
That's
That's why
interesting.
she let her arms get smaller again.
That's
I think she's one and done.
Yeah, that is interesting. Because like I would have thought that they would bring her in, and then you know the whole kind of. I'm not. This isn't my phrasing, but a lot of people are referring to the MCU now as the MCU, and like how it's kind of female focused and stuff. I thought that was where they were going. You know, they might give Chris Hemsworth a little more, and then like you know, Natalie Portman swoops in and takes over the mantle. Like goes forward as Thor.
Which would make sense, because if we end up having like an all-father Thor, then you know Thor can sit back in his throne, and then we have the Thor Force, and then you know there's Lady Thor.
And you know, and this could be this is a comic book spoiler. If you don't want to know what they do in the comics, that might spoil the movie.
Spoil me.
But Valkyrie dies in the comics or whatever, so she might go down to Gore the God Butcher, and then Jane takes over the mantle as Valkyrie, which she does in the comic book. She becomes Valkyrie.
Okay.
So you have Thor and Valkyrie, who is Jane Foster.
Nice.
You have Gore the God Butcher. You better see someone. Someone needs to go down.
Oh
yeah.
I don't care which of them, but someone. Like even if it's Chris, someone has to die to Gore the God Butcher.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what kind of God Butcher is he?
It does look like in that trailer. We do see Valkyrie in that trailer, and she's using like Zeus's bolt to fight Gore. So she might die. She might die. I think you're right.
It makes it a lot more impactful as a villain. You know, your villain.
Oh,
your villain that's supposed to be super powerful and kills gods better kill a god that we care about. Otherwise,
you gotta kill someone.
You're not. You know.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
But
please don't let it be Loki again.
That would be hilarious.
Because Loki dies in every Thor movie.
Just gets stabbed, and he's like, not again.
Yeah. That same music plays from the second one.
That would actually be the only way that I want Loki in the movie. Then.
Yeah,
yes.
Just to die.
I want Loki.
He uncloaks, and then Gore just stabs him in the back or something.
Part of the montage of gods that he's killed.
Yeah. I love it.
But it would bring Valkyrie to like full circle, because she didn't die during the battle against Hela.
Yeah.
And so that's her victorious death, like her warrior's death, which is like very.
That's what they all thrive for, the warrior's death. Yeah.
Yep.
That's their mission.
Bunch of Klingons.
And, I don't know. Like in my mind, it's like, first off, I hope they go back. I hope they really show Gore and Thor when they fight for the first time, like in the past. You know, kind of like, 500 BC or whatever, like whenever they fought. And I think the movie's just gonna wrap with like fucking Thor being at taking over New Asgard again as the king, because Valkyrie dies, and so he's like, he takes over like, I gotta lead. It's the thing, like he's wrestling with his responsibility. That he doesn't want to be a hero the whole time, tries to lay it down, can't do it, can't walk away from his responsibilities, has to take over as Odin.
Well, then that brings him as an Earth's mightiest hero, and then he's just on Earth.
Yeah,
I love it. Can't wait. I'm so excited for this movie.
Sorry, Taika. I'm sorry, bro. We've read too much Thor.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I think it could be a lot of fun. I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be fucking great. Really do.
I just need it to be a fun. I just need it to be a fun flick. I just want to have a good time.
Just hopefully not too much Scooby Doo. Jane.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, man.
absolutely.
Which, if you watch that trailer, like that whole scene, like there's no way he has that armor on when he's saying that.
No, he's wearing different
Like,
armor.
no.
Like it's
That's a
not
green
even just the
screen, bro.
helmet. It's not even the
Yeah.
helmet, dude. It's full. His full armor is different in the space of 10 seconds. Like you pointed that out to me, and I rewatched it, and I was like, oh my god, yeah. Because I thought it was just the helmet, but then I realized he's not. He's wearing different armor as well.
Yeah. So I think that was like filmed on a green screen for another part of the movie.
Yeah.
When Loki comes out and shows that he's actually Jane, and he's like, Jane?
Oh
But they
my
put the
God.
battle behind him.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you're dead right.
That was the
So, I
genesis
know-
of my Loki theory. It was him saying Jane. Kind of weird, like he's like, it's a Finkel and Einhorn situation.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Loki is Jane?
Finkel is
Loki.
Einhorn.
Loki.
Finkel is Einhorn. I love Ace Ventura so
kissed my
much,
brother.
dude. Yeah.
That was good. That
I
was good.
love Ace Ventura so much, dude. What a film.
Deep cut for us old boys.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I used to watch that movie like once a week. Like I was obsessed with it when I was a kid. Like so.
It was
funny.
a sensation. It's hard to forget. Hard to remember how big it was at the time.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Guys,
so-
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I know we're about to sign off, but if you don't mind, I'd like to show like a comparison of two different She-Hulks.
Do it.
Oh yeah. I was looking
I
those
know
up
this
earlier
is
when we were
pull-
talking about it. I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I know I pulling it back way far back, but I just had to show this. So
There's some very different She-Hulks from when I was looking
Yeah.
up. I was like, holy
Absolutely.
smokes,
Yeah,
like,
there is. There's
she's been
loads.
imagined a billion different ways.
There's loads. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody who might be listening to us on Spotify, I apologize, but we're looking at different versions of She-Hulk here. An absolutely
So-
jacked one. He looks bigger than Bruce Banner on the right.
right,
Yeah.
and so that's the Savage She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
like-
and there's even versions that were even more like next level savage, like the most jacked out regular Hulk that you can expect, and that where she looks like a cave woman or something, but like hulked out and crazy and giant. And then there's ones where she's again like aerobics instructor with almost zero definition.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like the one on the left is I think where they're going in the show, and like that is like the best look to me. Like
It's like a
Well,
J.
that-
Scott Campbell art looking almost.
Yeah, and from left to right, that would be Lyra, She-Hulk, and Red She-Hulk.
Yeah.
yeah.
Red She-Hulk's looking like a demon.
I've never read any of the She-Hulk stuff, but like I was watching some breakdowns from some of the creators that I watch, like, and they were saying like she's like very sexualized in the comics, like extremely. And it seems like one of the things in the trailers, it does seem like she's going on loads of dates, and the bit at the end where she's picking up the dude to bring him to bed and stuff. So it does seem like she's going to be very sexually active in the show. So I think it's going to be good.
Right.
Well, she's a
And
young
like,
female attorney, making it on her own.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I love about She-Hulk. It's like, oh, I love that song.
So good.
But yeah, like her persona is like so confident, so cocky at times, like very Spider-Man like.
Yeah.
And just can be seductive because she's so confident, and that's what I'm excited for, and I'm hoping the enthusiasm comes in when we see the show.
Yeah, I think it will. I think they're going to do it right. I actually have really high hopes for this show. I think it's going to be really, really good.
I have zero expectations, but we'll see.
I think
That's where I'm
Just
going
looks,
with this one.
it looks like they just took Gamora and like resized her, like Photoshop, like expand. Like she just doesn't really get any bulkier. She just gets bigger.
yeah, because she does look a bit like she's like giant, like she's like 8 foot tall or something. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Maybe they're
Girl,
making her
look at
8
your
foot tall.
ass.
Yeah,
Yeah, those
yeah.
okay. Those jokes are kind of old, man. Like like that moment where it's like, oh, you're gonna feel like a sense of fear or anger will trigger your Hulk out, and she's like, that's what every woman feels, and it's like, come on, really? How
Yeah,
old is that
I almost
joke?
expected to hear like a record scratch, like, oh, so like every other woman, like it is like a 1990s like style of joke.
Yeah,
Like that's like the 2000s rom-com, was that style of joking.
yeah. I think that's what they're aiming for. I think, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
we shall
I'm
indeed.
curious. I'm vaguely curious about She-Hulk. I'm not like one way or the other super excited, but I'll be interested to see what happens.
Any hype for Miss Marvel, Flood?
I haven't watched or seen much about it, so like I have zero hype on that front. My my MO with anything Disney at this point is just never to try to remain as low hype as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And then just hope for the best. And that's what we got really lucky with Obi-Wan. I'm letting myself get a little more excited for Thor because I don't know why. It just seems like it's going to be fun. I hate that I'm getting excited about it because I get nervous when I do that. But I don't know almost anything about Miss Marvel at this point. Yeah. So I will remain hopeful. I look forward to it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to take a wait and see approach as much as I can with Marvel these days.
Yeah.
Because I've been hurt too many times.
that airs on the 8th. Like it premieres on the 8th, so there's going to be episodes of Obi-Wan and She-Hulk airing at the same time, which is going to be kind of crazy. It's the first time that they're actually like battling in, Star Wars versus Marvel in the same week.
Keeping you month to month, baby. It's going to start overlapping. They got to keep those subscriptions up.
Oh yeah, well that should be the goal. You have something airing every Wednesday on Disney Plus, a brand new episode of something, Star Wars, Marvel, whatever. It should there should be something new.
Or just let me binge it.
And I'm pretty sure we have The Boys next week, like June 3rd. I think The Boys comes out.
Yeah, it's like we are in like one of the most stacked parts of the year.
Week? What's going on right now?
Yeah, it's crazy. There's so much out, and then like Stranger Things is a solid like 9 hours or 10 hours of content to watch. Like it's crazy. Like there's a lot going on right now. A lot going on. We are absolutely blessed to be nerds in 2022. I'm so happy. Flo, do you want to give a little shout out for yourself, like where people can find you if they've never watched you before, any of that stuff?
Sure. I'm playing video games at twitch.tv/theflood. And you can also check me out on Twitter at thefloodtv, where you also see where I do all my doodles and whatnots.
Dude, that latest art pick thing you put up was incredible, bro. I love watching the sped up like drawings and all. It's incredible.
Yeah, the time lapses are fun. Yeah.
It's actually incredible, dude. It really is. It's impressive, dude. Very impressive.
Just trying to get better and better.
Yes, sir. Gentlemen, if there's something else, we'll talk to you next week.
Later, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Later, everybody.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, dude.